Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Izzo here, inviting you.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
You could say we know a thing or two about sports.
Let's go!
We've only been doing it for 30 years. We're the game, 7:30 a.m. Welcome to the Sparrow Stout on Sports on Lansing Sports Station, The Game, 7:30 a.m. Starring the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout. The Sparrow Stout on Sports is Michigan's longest-running sports radio show. From the high schools to the colleges and the pros, Tim has you covered. Give Tim a call on the Culligan Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or send him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in mid-Michigan and member of the Michigan Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame, here's the Dean himself, Tim Stout.
On behalf of our partners, Shaheen Chevy Cadillac, good morning, everybody, on this Monday, April 1st, 2024, and welcome to a brand new week of the Sparrow Stout on Sports on Lansing Sports Station. This is the Game, 7:30 a.m., your home for the local sports shows and programming of note in our area, coming to you live every day from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. You'll find Joe Laird's staff at Driven Collision at 3200 West Main Street. Okay, you want that vehicle to get the bumps and dents out of it and look brand new? Driven Collision works with the insurance companies. They'll get you a loaner if you need it while yours is being fixed. Driven Collision is a 977-0955. We'll have a Driven Collision story of the day as we go through this Monday. If you're listening around the world, it's a beautiful day. They say rain's coming, but it isn't coming right now. We're in the low 40s at the moment. It is a nice day, though, however, to begin a brand new month here on the Sparrow Stout on Sports. We'll have Pure Green Smith 3 breaking sports moments. When they break, anything noteworthy, we pass it on to you. You know that's how we operate. Pure Green Smith 3 is at 703-1111. It's time for lawn treatment in the month of April. They'll take care of you in that regard and a whole lot more at Pure Green Smith 3. We'll have Quality Dairy Stats. Quality Dairy, 89 years serving the area. There must be a Quality Dairy store near you if you're in the mid-Michigan area as we speak to help you with any sundry items 7 days a week. And away we go. Here you can join us on the Culligan Water Hotline of 340-263 and our email address, and I have emails in here on all the predictable topics after a busy weekend at a variety of different sports, pro, college, everything in between. And our email address is tim.stout@wilx.com. So tonight we have the Red Wings, Pistons, and Tigers all in action, and we have 2 a.m. stations here, so we can't carry everything.
No. The Tigers are playing tonight, 1240 WJIM in New York to play the Mets, who are winless so far. That's 6:45, 1240 WJIM. And here on WVFN, we got Red Wings hockey. Red Wings are hosting, they're at the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's 6:45 here on WVFN. So there you go with that. We'll miss a Pistons game. That happens. It happens periodically throughout the season.
We're going to get deluge with complaint calls that we dumped the Pistons tonight.
13-61. Although they did beat your
Washington
Wizards on the road on Friday night.
Yeah. But they're still, they're still
behind them.
A win behind the Wizards.
Yeah.
And we got all three of them in action tonight. I told Brock coming in here, it's clear to me that you can put the Tigers down for 162 wins and no losses.
Now they're going to lose tonight. As soon as you say that.
The Mets are 0-3. And I was in New York over the weekend, and the establishments that we were in where they had television sets, man, those Mets fans get feisty because they're sick of the Mets losing. They don't think there should be any pro losses for their teams in New York.
Well, they're also jealous of the Yankees and the coverage that they get and the love that they get, too.
So So anyway, that's what we have tonight. With a 3-2. Now the Red Wings, they're out of it, but they can get back in it, right?
Yes, it's going to be very difficult. They did get a point on Saturday at Florida, which is important. They're still in serious trouble, but they're not done yet. They're 2 points behind now Philadelphia because Washington has caught Philadelphia in the Metropolitan Division. So that drops Philadelphia into the second wild card spot. They have 82 points. The Red Wings have 80. And right behind them are the New York Islanders with 77, New Jersey 76, Pittsburgh and Buffalo both have 75. So the Red Wings got teams breathing down their neck, but they're not done yet.
Did you fill out a Final Four bracket, the men's basketball tournament? Did you?
No, not this year.
2 of my 4 are in. I had Connecticut and Purdue in, but the problem is I had Arizona winning it, and they went out. And in the pool I'm in, if you lose, your projected champion earlier,
pretty much toast.
That you're pretty much toast, in the pool that you're in. Does it look to you? Everybody thinks now it's going to be Connecticut and Purdue for the national title.
It looks like it. That's a collision course now. Yeah,
that North Carolina State and Alabama will be on the outside looking in. If one of them's going to win between North Carolina State and Alabama, which one's more likely to win a semifinal on Saturday?
North Carolina State, in my opinion.
Well, I think they match up with Purdue pretty well, based off how they've played in the postseason. If you go back to November and December, that's different. Like Brock says, though, these tournaments, North Carolina State was a heartbeat from getting knocked out of the NCAA tournament on opening night by Virginia.
Yeah.
But they missed a free throw, and the game went overtime.
And then after the missed free throw by Virginia, they banked in a 3 at the buzzer to force overtime at 58, and they ended up winning that game.
And that's the way the thing works.
That's how it works.
So on we go. And we get to, we're down to 4, and we have, 6 left in the women's tournament.
Yes.
We'll get their Final Four. The bracket will get filled out tonight. There's a dramatic game between LSU and Iowa. They played last year, and Iowa knocked them out.
No, LSU
knocked them out. And and that was in the championship game, right? Because they had beaten South Carolina to set the thing up.
Yes, that's right.
Iowa. And LSU scored 112 points in it.
It seemed like it.
I think they scored 112 on it. They may get that again tonight, frankly, but we'll see. So there's 2, and then the other game tonight, the other semifinal.
Connecticut and USC. And Connecticut has Paige Beckers. USC's got Juju Watkins, who I watched, who's tremendous.
And I like things going right to the wire.
Oh, and they play in Portland. Can you believe
that thing is going right to the wire?
Can you believe how they messed up the court in Portland, where one of the 3-point lines was
It's a beautiful
messed
thing.
up?
It's a beautiful
Incredible.
thing. It's a beautiful
That's
thing.
incredible.
And then Brock tells me the WNIT has 3 Big Ten teams that are still in it, and were horrible during the regular season. When you think of Purdue in the postseason of basketball, I guess you think of the men, but their women are home, tomorrow night to play Vermont in the WNIT.
No, these are tonight.
Oh, tonight.
These are tonight. 7 o'clock, Vermont at Purdue.
Purdue's terrible on the women's side.
That's 7 o'clock tonight. Louisiana Monroe is at Troy at 7 o'clock. And then 2 other Big Ten teams are playing. 8 o'clock, St. Louis University is at Wisconsin. And Minnesota is at Wyoming at 8:30.
I got a feeling we got to be the only show in America that's bringing it up, especially this early in the day.
And now there's a women's basketball, CIT tournament, the Insider, the Women's Basketball Insider tournament, and we got 2 Big Ten teams still playing in that at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. Penn State plays Villanova in Game 1 at 2:30. And then at 5 o'clock, Illinois plays Washington State.
Did I see in the men's side, Purdue's a 9.5-point favorite over North Carolina State? That seems high to me.
Ooh, hang on.
That seems high. I think Purdue's a 9.5-point favorite. And Connecticut, with a Connecticut game against Alabama, I think Alabama's feisty. I think Alabama, they've been kind of soaring through this thing. Just, kind of.
Purdue's an 8.5-point favorite. Connecticut, an 11.5-point favorite, according to ESPN Bet.
You like the underdogs there?
Man, those are tight spreads. I think Connecticut could blow
Tennessee
them out.
yesterday, man, Tennessee, they couldn't make a layup. They couldn't make they were up.
Other than Dalton Connect, who was tremendous.
Well, he's very good. I tell you what, you realize without him where Tennessee might have been. I mean, they couldn't make a shot. They were up 32-21, and and Purdue's kind of looking at each other, and then Purdue goes on a 5,000-1 spree. And, they pretty much control it for the most. And kept looking in the second half like Tennessee and all. They're going to hit a shot. Connect's the only guy that could connect.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the only Connect's the only guy that could connect.
And I guess he was a JUCO guy 2 years ago, and now he's going to be a lottery pick.
Well, if he doesn't have an unbelievable game, then Tennessee would have got buried in that thing. And as it is, Purdue's figured out.
Just got to get the ball to Edie.
Our only hope, we got to get the ball in. So now, North Carolina State's got a guy that'll stand there and go toe-to-toe with him.
Even though he's much shorter, he's
and
big.
So does Connecticut.
Yeah, that Donovan Clingan, yeah. 7'2" and change.
So we'll see how that, we'll see how that all plays out. I wonder who the Big Ten coaches are rooting for. Publicly, they all say they want their own conference to win, but privately, do they have any axe to grind with Purdue? Because Purdue's been pretty dominant in the Big Ten the last few years. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You heard what Greg Campy of Oakland told us. He's rooting like crazy for Matt Painter because he thinks all the coaches like Matt. At least he does anyway. So how that plays out the remainder of the week, we'll have to see. I was standing with a friend in Monterina before the overtime with Michigan for the Big Ten tournament title. And I remember expressing my thought that I don't know who's going to win this thing, but whoever does win it wants no part of playing the other one if they meet each other in the NCAA hockey tournament, because there's going to be revenge on their mind. So I remember when it was State's night, the hockey gods, their Monterina, they got all their alumni, and they got all
terrific game. Terrific game.
I mean, they had, they got the TV. It's for the tournament title, blah, blah, blah. And I remember looking at Michigan's players on their knee, drinking it all in, watching the Spartans celebrate with a trophy and going to the corner to the students. And I said, if these guys meet in the NCAA tournament on a neutral site out of Monterina, look out, because they're going to have revenge with talent. It's one thing to have revenge and you have no talent. They have talent. But I thought, is Michigan going to beat North Dakota?
I didn't think so. I thought North Dakota would beat them, and it looked like they were going to, but then Michigan put 3 on the board in the third period and won that one.
And I was at the state airport, or at the Detroit airport Friday night when Western's up 4-3 with a minute to go. And, Doc's telling me she'd been watching the game, and like she says, State's not going to get past. I said, you know what? This is Western. Let's see if they can hold on for one more minute. Let's just see, because State's going to pull a goalie, none of which I saw, but you know what they're going to do. So they score with 56 seconds to go for it. I said, if it goes overtime, Western's got no shot.
Yeah, and when it got to overtime, when State tied it and it went to overtime, I said, State's going to win.
But so then I think, well, if you're State, you want North Dakota. You don't want a rematch with Michigan. You don't want to play them a 6-tie. You don't want to give them all that incentive after, you pretty well dominated them 4 out of 5. Mm-hmm. Because they got talent. I mean, they got talent, and they are going to be on an absolute mission to get them because that'll make their season if they can knock them out of the Frozen Four, and Michigan replaces them for a third straight year.
Yeah.
And Brock says he
outplayed them in the third
even
period.
When State led 1-0 last night. I never thought State was going to win a game.
Oh, I thought
it might be 3-2 or it might be overtime.
Tim,
I thought might happen.
No, I thought when State scored on the power play in the third period, where Michigan left that State guy, I can't even remember who it was. Left him alone there on the power play, made it 2-2. I thought, okay, I already know what's going to happen here. State's coming on. They're going to either score late in regulation and win it 3-2, or they're going to get to overtime and win it 3-2. No. And then Michigan scores 2 goals in 12 seconds.
I never thought that was going to happen. I didn't think. And when it was 3-2, well, that's another classic story. I'm at the Newark airport. Okay, I saw the first period from Patrick's place in Hoboken, and then we Uber to the Newark airport, which is about 15 minutes. And part of that airport's brand new. It's beautiful.
Okay.
So they got TV screens everywhere. And most of and the place is, Sunday night. Well, it's Easter Sunday night, so America's traveling. They're getting home on Sunday night. There are people everywhere. But on the screens, It's the Dodgers and the Cardinals. And,
the Sunday night baseball game.
And then there's soccer on, and then, I don't know, and the NBA's on, and there's an NHL,
right.
and all these people that are watching you. But there's a little screen over here in this one area, and son of a gun, it's a Michigan State hockey game. And I said to Brock, I don't know how many thousand people, and you know how many people are watching the Michigan State hockey game? Me.
You.
Period. None. Zero. Nobody else. And I was afraid they were going to change the thing to some other event, then I'm not going to be able to see it. And we had our plane home had a tire issue, and they had to change, so I got to see the entire end of the game.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And I used the restroom when State went up when Michigan went up 3-2. I come right back out to look at the screen, and I said to Doc, because she was fussing around doing some, I said, "What you didn't? It's 4-2. I just went out of here. Yep. What happened?"
Yep.
And then I saw the play that's got to make the top 10 on Michigan.
Frank Nazer with a great pass, and he buried it and 4-2. And then State State had to pull Augustine with 4 minutes and change to go, which you got to do down 2 goals in that situation. And then State took another penalty.
The only thing I thought might happen is this going to get chippy? But it appeared to me Michigan wanted no part.
Right.
And all they want to do is just skate it off. The game's over. Let's not
Once it got to 5-2,
Once it got to 5-2, game just get out of the way, just shoot it in down or get back on defense, change lines, because the benches are right next to each other.
Yep.
Everybody said that arena's too small, and it looked to me like half the place was empty. I got to ask our guys who were there because Joey and Owen covered the game for us. But it looked to me on the screen like half the seats in that place were empty.
There looked like there were some empty seats, yeah. But
now, I would think, and by the way, it's amazing the emails I have waiting to get Ellis when he's with us tomorrow. Well, they're all they're laying in the weeds for Ellis because Michigan won.
Yeah, well, and you know what? Jake Barchevsky outplayed Trey Augustine in net. He just did. And Nightingale gave credit to Barchevsky. 38 saves. He was tremendous.
Well, now they got to play Boston College.
Not easy at all.
I mean, the two Boston schools. I said to Brock, if the two Boston schools win their semifinal, move that thing out of St. Paul, let them go back to the Boston
to the TD Garden,
the TD Garden in Boston, let them play each other for the national title and fill it. In St. Paul, I mean, they'll probably sell those. The team that screwed it up was Minnesota because they could have gone home to play in front of their own crowd.
Well, North Dakota, too, to a degree.
To a degree. I wasn't now, see, the North Dakota-Michigan game, I wasn't sure about that. That one I wasn't sure. And when Michigan was down 2-1 at the end of 2, I said, you know what? I don't live this well. I know this is going to be State North Dakota. Michigan won't pull.
I picked North Dakota to win that game.
And then Michigan shortened their, Ellis says their depth, so they shortened it to 2 lines.
Shortened their bench.
Scored 3 goals and win it 4, and then held on and won it 4-3 over North Dakota. Yeah. And when Patrick was a hockey player, I said, I'm just telling Michigan, you don't want. That's the worst thing that could happen to them is have to play Michigan again out of Munn Arena. I mean, whoever had won the game in Munn Arena. Now, if Michigan won in Munn Arena, then I'd like State last night. Because then it would have been their motivation to atone for that. I mean, to me, winning the Big Ten tournament, especially when you've already won the regular season, all that did was set up a night where Michigan is going to watch Michigan State celebrate with a trophy, which they already had earned in the first place, in my opinion. They're already a Big Ten champion. Why do you need to do it twice? All it did was give Michigan incredible motivation with talent.
Sure.
With talent. I think Michigan's goalie, and although Hayward's the same way, he thinks he's very inconsistent. He thinks he
was real good last night.
But he did what he had to do.
He was really good last night.
Offensively, they did what they had to do. Michigan gave the guy 5 goals.
Yes.
So he had to hold him to 4, and they would have won.
And he held him
to 2.
And he made some really good saves last night.
So
Nightingale said pretty much the same thing too.
Will all the Michigan State fans be rooting for a big brother?
No. Tim, that's a stupid question to ask. You already know the answer.
What about there? But it's your sister's school. Don't you root for your sister's school now?
Glad we're going to break.
Carry on the tradition in the state, whatever the case may be. On we go. I can't believe there are 3 women's NIT basketball games in a tournament. I had no idea because that thing just gets buried. And when Brock told me Purdue, Wisconsin, I said those 3 are the
and big Minnesota.
Or at Wisconsin, Purdue, and Minnesota in women's basketball are awful. I mean, how they ever got into it in the first place. And then they're all already down to where they're playing semifinal, quarterfinal, whatever you told me.
Quarterfinal in the WNIT.
What if Purdue wins 2 national championships, one in the NCAA for the men and one for the women's NIT, and then they have to have a big equal parade for both of them going through the streets of Lafayette next week? Who knows? The Colliga Water Hotline to join us, 342-63. This is the Bundy Sparrow Stout on Sports. Tailgating season or any other special occasion, Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland are ready to make it great for you. The entire family has created Tom's Food Centers, and they upgrade the stores with new renovations on a consistent basis. And it's also so convenient to get in and out right away 7 days a week. A lot of things on sale. The stores are fully stocked. They're neat, clean, sanitary. And for all those special occasions, you can dart in and out anytime, 7 days a week. Try them. Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland. Infinity Chiropractic, serving our area for 40 years under the ownership of Dr. Harry Satimi. Their offices cover the area between East Lansing, St. Joe Highway, and Lansing and Grand Ledge. They're always accepting new patients. They welcome patients of all ages and enjoy caring for infants, children, expectant mothers, and families. Stop in at any of the 3 offices and be sure to find a family. You'll see they're having their spines checked and fixed. A total of 6 chiropractors between the 3 offices. Infinity Chiropractic. Golf is never out of season at Michigan State's Forest Acres Complex. Regardless of the weather or the time of the year, you can practice with the facilities. And the pro shops have all kinds of spectacular apparel and Michigan State artifacts you really can't find anywhere else. Great for gift-giving ideas at any time of the year. Online, golf.msu.edu for everything Michigan State. And the 2024 season has got a lot of opportunities for golfers everywhere. Forest Acres Complex Golf at Michigan State. It hasn't changed through the years. The best in casual fine dining throughout mid-Michigan. Dusty's on Grand River Avenue in Okemos. What a wonderful place for special occasions. And the tap room, far more casual next door, but just as popular in so many ways. Gift cards are available. And if there's a gift you need for that hard-to-find someone for any occasion, the gift baskets and other items are spectacular. Check out all the great wines from around the world and the delicatessen. Something for everyone. Dusty's, Grand River Avenue in Okemos.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players. Pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
We've partnered for years with our official pizza, Cottage and Gourmet Pizza. You always get fast delivery and a variety of specials every day. Order online at cottagein.com. Convenient locations all over our area, especially East Lansing and Okemos. Cottage and Pizza offering a wide variety of gourmet pizzas, and you can build your own just the way you want. Handmade dough closes at 11:30 each night. Way to go, George Hoover, with the continued growth and success of our official pizza, Cottage and Gourmet Pizza.
At Doggy Daycare and Spa, we love dogs, and we love taking care of your furry family member when you cannot. Our daycare and boarding services are offered exclusively to dogs who are enrolled in our program. Our team of dog lovers will provide your dog with the attention they need and deserve. Stop in for a tour at either one of our convenient locations on Mount Hope Highway in Delta Township and on the corner of Grand River and Cornell in Okemos. Give us a call at 333-WOOF. That's 333-9663, and let us love your dog. Doggy Daycare and Spa, where the hip hounds hang out.
Our friend Val Orlando has done so well with City Limits in Mason, right? Well, he also has an all-state insurance agency that you hear us talk about all the time. He has a new location now with same great service. Stop in and say hello. The new all-state office next to the Secretary of State's office on Cedar Street and College Road, just off 127. Call for information on all state insurance options at Val Orlando's agency at 969-5300. That's 969-5300. Val Orlando's Allstate Insurance. City Limits in Mason. What a gathering place for people who've enjoyed bowling and just recreation and get-togethers for a number of years. And it's going hot and heavy, and it's safe and sound. And you ought to see all the people in the parking lot who enjoy City Limits every single day. You can sign up for a bowling league for a special occasion 7 days a week after a game, or go watch games on the big screen TV. City Limits on Cedar Street in Mason. Everybody knows where it is, and everybody loves it. visit. You'll love City Limits Cedar Street in Mason, too. Leading Edge Golf across from Okemos High School, 6 days a week, 12 months a year. Plenty of parking in front, Jolly Road in front of Okemos High School, okay? Indoor TrackMan machines with the great courses of the world. It's the leading retailer for golfers in our area of every different type of golf need you have, okay? If you have questions, you can call Leading Edge Golf, 349-7274. Leading Edge Golf, serving you all year long.
From Mud Ice Arena to Little Caesars Arena, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident on the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. Who's Jeff Goodman, Brock?
College basketball writer. I think he used to be with ESPN, but got caught in the layoffs a couple of years ago.
Here are quality dairy numbers for you from Jeff Goodman. He says in the 14 days since the transfer portal opened, 1,071 Division I men's college basketball players entered the portal, which will close on May 1st. 1,007. That includes walk-ons.
Right, yeah.
It includes walk-ons. 1,071 Division I men's basketball players have entered the portal over the last 14 days. And none of them from Michigan State.
Not
Michigan's
yet.
Lost a couple. But
At least, 2 or 3?
yeah.
I think it's 3. 3. George Washington III, Terrace Reed, and Doug McDaniel.
So take that number for whatever it's worth. Are they all going to find new basketball homes? Is there an all-portal team somewhere, whatever, that all-portal team?
They could do several all-portal teams, Tim.
So who knows? Let's see, where else am I going here before we get Ianni in here? I'm trying to think of what I need to cover beforehand. So Saturday morning, so we're up having coffee, and Patrick, he says, I've got this Kim Mulkey story from the Washington Post. So he's reading through it. And he says if she hadn't said a word, I wouldn't even know one single thing about. But because she made all this fuss, and he says there isn't one single thing in this story.
I've heard it's a nothing burger. It's just, so to speak.
It's a lot of what already had been reported through her career. There wasn't one. So then I say, okay. So first of all, her making reference to it. All it did was bring attention to herself to begin with, and with her ego, which appears to be
pretty large.
Well, significant, I'll say that. So she brings all that up. So now everybody reads this story, and like Patrick says, there isn't one single thing in this thing that hasn't been reported through the years. And so I say to him, my bigger question is, what would motivate the Washington Post to think that there's value and traction and interest in reading a story that they investigated with the LSU women's basketball coach? I mean, if it was the New Orleans Times Picayune, the Baton Rouge Register, whatever, that's in their backyard.
Yeah.
The Washington Post thinks this story has merit for whatever readership it has. I mean, to me, that thing, the two of them deserved each other. But then apparently the column in the Los Angeles Times made her madder, because a column is opinion. So what they called LSU, now, of course, then the racist card, that comes into this thing one way or the other. Now, I'll be curious to see what, if anything, gets brought up during the game tonight with Iowa, because I think there's going to be a sizable television audience tonight.
I do, too.
Because it could be Caitlin Clark's last game or Angel Reese's last game.
Right.
They played last year in the national championship game, and they're playing again. And how ironic it would be if Caitlin Clark's swan song is against LSU or vice versa.
Right.
Do you think Iowa's got a shot?
Yes. I would pick LSU, but I think I would be mildly surprised, only mildly surprised if Iowa won.
That dumb Colorado team ran its mouth in advance of the game with Iowa Saturday. And all that did was just fuel Iowa's resolve to knock them out and beat them by a ton. Colorado, they're going to send Caitlin Clark packing, and she's done after playing us. And they went public with all that. All that did was, we're in a New York City bar late afternoon on Saturday. We had gone to see the aircraft carrier Intrepid in the New York Harbor. By the way, if you're ever there looking for something to do, it's fantastic. Yeah, especially if you appreciate World War II and the Vietnam War, because the Intrepid was there. So we walked 3 blocks. Like Patrick says, we got to go to this Irish bar. It's really good. So we get in there. then, the bars in New York are always crowded. So we're in there, and there's 4 or 5 TV sets on, and they're all griping because of the Mets. The Mets are on playing.
Yeah, they're 0-3 right now.
And then there's a couple soccer games on, and of course it's 0-0 for the hour that we're there in both of them. But the other TV had the women's basketball game on with Iowa and Colorado. So we're watching it. But the guy behind the bar says, I'm sorry, he says, I got to turn this thing. He says, nobody cares about this thing. They all want it. And they put another soccer game on, Brock. Some college sports in our neck of the woods is one thing, but in those pro markets, there wasn't one single person in that bar who could have cared less who Caitlin Clark was and that Iowa was playing Colorado in the NCAA tournament. And this, was on for a few minutes, and then it got turned off. Lyles and Lansing on a Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Good morning. I thought about you over the weekend. I was on the USS Intrepid that served in World War, was commissioned in 1943, and it was packed. Man, there had to be 4,000 people there that day because it's a museum now. And I can't imagine the people that design those aircraft carriers and then build them and then make those things float. It's just mind-boggling to me.
That's a lot of steel.
Oh, my golly, when the size of that thing, and it was very well done. I did not realize that in World War, it was commissioned in 1943, so it served in the Pacific, and it got hit twice by kamikazes, and the first time it got hit by a kamikaze, it killed 69 sailors, so they make a big deal out of that because they have all kinds of video stuff. And I climbed through all those hatches and, narrow steps and climbed up and down, and it's just...
Their sleeping quarters were pretty little.
Well, I complain every now and then, but, when we're in a hotel room that's small and I look at that, and the officers' quarters aren't very, there was 3,000 men that served on that ship. And then it went to Vietnam, and all of the planes, it's mind-boggling, the aircraft that are stationed on top of the deck of that thing. But it's a museum now. The classic is it's $36 a piece, Brock, but the senior citizen discount, that'll be significant. No, that's $34. $2. That's what you save for being old. And by the way, there were a lot of veterans that were on that thing wearing their veterans caps from where they served and so on. If you're looking for something to do in New York, on the pier there, and what is it, Pier 82, whatever, it's up in Midtown. It's pretty good.
I had a friend I worked with at General Motors, and he was on the USS Midway. Him and another guy missed it when it left port, and they had to fly him to Japan to meet it. And he got on with this guy that they flew from California to Japan to meet the Midway, and they were on that ship for 7 months, and he'd never seen him again.
I mean, imagine 3,000, people being housed on that thing, and that thing's a 1943 ship. And when I think of the new aircraft carriers today, with everything that's state of the art on some of those, I don't know how they build them. I mean, I don't know who designs them. I'd like to know how much wire, because you see the wiring all through that. So there has to be, Brock, enough wire to go around the world 9,000 times, the wire on those ships. It's amazing to me.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, over the weekend, I'm thinking I would like to call Tim and just see how many, because Ellis, when he gave his little synopsis of Western Michigan, he said, they're nothing. They got one line, one guy.
Well, then he said, now look, I missed a few things. So what I say? I said, remember, I said to Ellis, I said, if State gets 3 goals, is that enough? Oh, yeah, that's enough. That's enough. Oh, yeah, that's enough. But I thought to myself, until that clock hits 0, I don't know if Western Michigan, it's got to hit 0. And then with a minute to go, I thought if State's got the goal, so just line all these guys up in front of your goal and just withstand the barrage, and you can win. But no, they State scores, and then you knew when it went to overtime, Western was done.
Did you think he took any heat himself?
Well, I mean, I've got emails here for people I can read a couple of them that are just waiting. A couple of them came in while I was at the airport last night, and his name came up right away.
Not surprised.
His name came up right away. But I thought to myself, I said, if State plays Michigan in this NCAA tournament, I'm telling you, Michigan is just laying in the weeds for them because they're going to right the wrongs of those 4 times they lost.
In their mind, you're talking. In their
Michigan's mind.
Yeah, so I know Brock's listening right now. You two, just give me a number between 1 and 10, 10 being great. 1 and 10. on the officiating on the Purdue game. I thought it was well called. I really did. Just me. But
well, I think to me it depends on who you're betting on or rooting for, because I can understand.
The Tennessee folks,
the Tennessee players, their strategy was to run as many guys in there against Edey as they could. They needed fresh bodies in there and they needed extra fouls. But the thing that Edey does to me that I don't think he can get away with in the NBA, he just uses his bulk to back it down low, and then he either passes it out, and the guards are either going to make a shot or they don't. But he'll miss, Brock, every now and then. He can miss, too. Sure. And if he does miss, he doesn't necessarily rebound it. Where he rebounds it is another teammate's missed shot. But, I mean, Tennessee's players look at the official and say, "What do you want me to do?" What do you want me to do? If I was,
they called it. They hit him on the arm, and that's a foul.
Well, a couple times they clearly did. Yes, out of frustration. But that whole thing with him is just he backs you down, and you're either strong enough that you can stand there where he can't move, and if that's the case, he'll just kick it back out again.
When they tripled him, he would throw it back out the lawyer, and lawyer threw it right back to him, and by that time, he's taken a step backwards, and it's just a layup. Well,
the one thing that Purdue's guards get a break from him is if he does kick it back out, most of the time, Brock, they're standing there wide open because they've troubled and triple teamed Edey, so somebody's got to be open. Now, if they miss, well, then, they miss. But they don't have the hand in the face, in my opinion, that other like this Dalton, the net connect guy for Tennessee.
Right.
He's got to create points however he can do it. I'd like to see him and Edey on the same team because they'd be a dynamic 1-2 punch. The thing about Edey that was different yesterday, I got to give Edey credit. This guy's got some tremendous tolerance. How many coaches who coach basketball would be yanking this guy's minutes down to 32 or 33? He played all but just a couple seconds yesterday, and he didn't look he didn't look gassed to me. They want to rest him when they can, but he had to play. He had to play almost all of that game yesterday.
Let me look at the box score. I'm bringing it up.
I don't ever remember.
Edey played 39 minutes.
Yeah.
40 points, 16 rebounds.
He played 39 plus. They just counted as 39.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So
if you don't play the whole game, you get 30.
I got to give the guy credit because he's got to be in tremendous shape to get up and down the floor against a team like that.
13 of 21 from the field, 14 of 22 from the free throw line.
Okay, so how many free throws did Purdue attempt and how many did Tennessee?
21 of 33.
And what did Tennessee?
7 for 11.
Okay, so that's 14 points right there.
Yeah, Tennessee committed 25 fouls compared to 12 for Purdue.
So there you go.
There you go.
I thought Mason Gillis played a good game too. He's not a big flag waver, but he does a good job.
Well, now let the games begin because now Purdue's trying to figure out how to get enough tickets for Phoenix. And furthermore, how are they going to get to Phoenix? Those planes only carry so many people. And by the way, the price is going up. And, when I hear boiler up, I say pay up because now they haven't been, it's a big deal for North Carolina State, they're going to have people there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It did sound like LCA was really jamming yesterday, though. It was loud.
Yeah, and it was 3/4 Purdue. And, now, some of them better get on the wagon train and start heading out there now because the price is going to be brutal. But
welcome to the desert. All right, see you later.
Take a quick break. Cullingga Water Hotline, 340-263. Our email address, tim.stout@wilx.com. On we go. This is the Monday Sparrow, Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Greg Ianni, former Deputy Athletic Director at Michigan State. He's going to be coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. Look forward to that. At 1 o'clock, ESPN Radio. Then at 3, The Huge Show. And coming up tonight, 1240 WJIM. At 6:45, Detroit Tigers baseball continuing their opening season road trip in New York against the New York Mets. And that's 6:45 on 1240. Here on WVFN, Detroit Red Wings hockey. They're at the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight, 6:45 pregame. That's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
You always have a great time at Scott Berman's One North Kitchen and Bar, 5001 West Saginaw, Lansing. It's in the old Reno's West location. Dine-in or curbside service, all the info at onenorthdining.com. or call 901-5001 for any special event. Open 11 to 11 and then till midnight on Friday and Saturday. A casual and entertainment-based environment where your gathering will have a great time every time. That's 1 North on West Saginaw in West Lansing. We always try to endorse the area's best companies. You know that through the years. Mid-Michigan has body shops galore. Number one by far I've seen is Driven Collision. Founded by Joel Laird, and what a company he has. Easy to find, I-496 at the Lansing Road exit. Up the hill, on the right, no problem. His business has grown dramatically through the years because the work is so good for the customers. You get a lifetime warranty on the work of Driven Collision, a free loaner if you need one. He works with all insurance companies. Driven Collision, 977-0955. Mid-Michigan has been blessed for 89 years with the convenience of the Quality Dairy stores, serving Mid-Michigan in so many different ways. Sundry items at any time you're short, you can run to a Quality Dairy store. Everything from gasoline to laundry to bakeries to delicatessen, you name it, and the Quality Dairy stores have it for you. And their fresh baked items are fantastic, and there's always something in the deli that's special every day. There's always high quality at Quality Dairy, serving you all over Mid-Michigan 7 days a week.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Like that, let's put it online and see what happens stage.
And the site is live.
That we opened a store and need a fast checkout stage.
Thanks. You're all set.
That count it up and ship it around the globe stage.
This one's going to Thailand.
And that, wait, did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Whatever your stage, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen.
Yeah, I see.
And now to the chopper for our traffic report.
There's a lot of traffic. It must be headed to Meijer for the Buy 5, Save $5 sale. Shop select General Mills family size cereal, Oikos Greek yogurt, and select Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. All Buy 5, Save $5. Mix or match at Meijer.
Okay.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan, dedicated to serving this state and only Michigan. Founded in 1949 by Michigan farmers, members of Michigan Farm Bureau, who wanted an insurance company that worked as hard as they did, gave honest service, cared about Michigan's future. More than 800 associates to serve you, nearly 450 agents over all regions of Michigan, prepared to protect you from the risks of everyday life. Check out the ratings, and you'll find that you always win with Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Golf season never ends at Indian Hills in Okemos off Hamilton Road. A little 9-hole course, which is great for league play or for beginners. But in the off season, that's where they make clubs, repair clubs, change clubs, adjust clubs. J.C. Peterson says anytime, call us 349-1010. And anytime when you're looking for special gifts, they always have special closeouts in their pro shop. 9 holes, Indian Hills in Okemos, 349-1010. If you want a club adjusted, call J.C. Peterson. Mid-Michigan tax to the rescue for you April 15th, but now 2 weeks away. Are you ready to, have you filed? Are you ready to file? Do you need help? Now it's late, but I'd get some help, and you can get it with an appointment at 694-9545. Deb Alderding and her staff to help you year-round. They do payroll as well. Mid-Michigan tax to the rescue, 2 weeks to the deadline.
We're the station you've turned to for sports for over 30 years, and the only one still standing. We're Lansing's sports leader, The Game, 730 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. We always appreciate it when Greg Ianni gives us his time when he is available on Mondays in the middle hour, and he's in with us, the longtime, now retired Deputy Athletic Director. Well, it was Easter weekend, so Easter's one thing, and but there's a lot of sports on Easter weekend.
Yeah, there were.
There are a lot of sports, man.
There were.
And so since, let's see, we saw you last Monday. Brock, help me out here. Since last Monday, the field was at 16. Now the field's down to 4. That's in the men's tournament. It's 6 in the women's tournament. The hockey's down to 4 from the original field to 16. Do you have a thought off the top? And then I'll see where you want to start, and then I'll follow up from there.
Well, I'm thinking, I watched a lot of basketball, obviously, this weekend. And, I watched the Tigers. My mother was visiting us for...
They're going undefeated.
She loves the Tigers.
You got your shirt on, too.
Loves the Tigers.
How about that? 2 2-out hits, one in the ninth and one in extra innings to win, and the bullpen gives up 1 run in 12. I think it's 12 in the third innings.
They pitched really well this weekend,
You take it.
Watched that, and then I watched a lot of basketball. Watched a lot of basketball this weekend, and which was fun. And caught the Michigan State Michigan hockey game last night, and so it was a good sports weekend. Really good sports weekend.
So they get the Mets now in New York, and I said to him, in this environment where it's just so college dominated, so in New York, the Mets game's on where we were, and they got swept by Milwaukee. I mean, it's March. I mean, the season goes forever, so they lose to Milwaukee, and they're screaming and they're yelling the Mets. They don't do this, they don't have that, and it's in March. But the pros obviously dominate because they got anything that was college, they wanted that up. Now, the NCAA tournament for the men wasn't being played because yesterday it was, but I wasn't any place yesterday commercially in the area where those games, because we watched at his apartment the Purdue-Tennessee game.
Yeah.
You said to me a couple of weeks ago, you said, why, you don't like Purdue. Well, I like them a lot better now because the field is down to 4. This looks to me like it's going to be Purdue, Connecticut.
Yeah, everybody's been, I don't know. I don't think Purdue's gotten a lot of respect this year. They keep bringing up last year. I think you can take last year and, all right, I think they've made their amends from last year. It happened. I like what Matt Painter said yesterday. He said, you know what? When it happens, you just got to sit in it. You got to sit in it. You got to take it. You got, and they did. And they are you know what? I've watched Edie more the last few weeks, and, I don't see him as much during the year. I mean, that kid's a heck of a player. I mean, he is a heck of a player. He's really, I'll tell you what, he is tough. He's hard-nosed. He's tough-minded.
He doesn't foul.
He doesn't, Tim. And you know what? My wife yesterday, because, my wife was an All-American basketball player in college, and she played inside. And she was commenting yesterday. She goes, he doesn't foul. Because, his hands never come down, Tim. A lot of these guys, the first thing that happens when they're checking somebody is the hands go down, and then as soon as the hands go down, the referee blows the whistle. This kid keeps his hands up. And I'll tell you what the other thing was. The most impressive thing he did yesterday, about 3 times in a row, Connect drove to the basket, right? And he gave him the layup. All right, I'm not, all right. But the last time, Connect went in there like he was going to get a layup, giving it to him again, and Edie blocked it, changed up his strategy. I mean, that kid uses his head in there. And
I never see him huffing and puffing either.
No, he's in terrific shape, Tim. You made that point earlier. I agree with you. I mean, he played literally the whole game yesterday, but a few seconds.
Oh, there are a lot of coaches. If they had him, he'd play 32, 31, 30. They get him out of there. Now, Painter occasionally does.
Right.
But I think, when you're down to that, man, when there's no tomorrow, if we lose this, we're done.
You know what's interesting, Tim, is I mean, obviously he's the best player in the country. He'll be the player of the year again. You imagine if you just took him and put him, I was daydreaming yesterday. Okay, put him on Michigan State's team. How do you think Michigan State's team is with Zach Edey? Just add Zach Edey to what they had there. They'd probably be pretty good, wouldn't they? They'd probably be in the Final Four,
the State's guards are going to get a lot more open looks.
They would.
Because they're all going to double down on
That's
him
right.
or triple or whatever. Because Tennessee, I thought, you could tell Tennessee's game plan is we have got to commit manpower to the guy and hope that they miss. Now, sometimes they do. But they also get big shots, too.
They do.
But I never see him huffing and puffing.
No.
I mean, and he played. And I thought, they're not getting him out of. The only thing going to get him out of there is fouls, and he doesn't foul. At least he doesn't get. Now the argument's going to be, well, he does, but they give him a break on that. But you know what? You got to take what the game's going to give you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
No
gripe
question.
about the officiating on him all you want, but they're in the Final Four.
That's right.
So, but now North Carolina State's guy, though, he's a monster.
That'll be
too.
interesting,
I
won't
mean,
it?
those
Yeah.
two. I mean,
Yeah.
he's going to Tennessee's guys, and weren't quite as physical. Before the top of the hour, we'll get Craig from Lansing on the Culling and Water Hotline, so you don't have to wait through the news. Morning, Craig.
Hey, good morning, guys. I mean, I called in when I heard you say that the painter never takes him out, because I heard the most interesting thing, and I've been a runner my whole life, and I've always been pretty good at it. So when they said that big 7'4" dude runs a mile in under 6 minutes, I don't know if people know how significant of a number that is for anybody, but especially for a guy that big. I remember seeing him before they said that stat during the game. I saw him not get down court. One time he didn't get down court fast enough, and they got straight to the hoop late. And I thought, man, I wonder how many times that's going to happen this game. I'll keep track. Well, it never happened again, because the dude can run the court. He never gets tired, because when you can run a 6-minute mile, that's saying something. I mean, it's not like you're from Kenya or Ethiopia or some kind of country that's known for long milers and marathoners. But for the average everyday person, even a college athlete, and especially for someone that tall, it's incredible that he can run that fast. I got one more thing for you guys real quick. Besides Scotty Scheffler, can you think of anybody else that's been as good as Tiger for a short streak or longer since Tiger Woods was young? My only person was Brooks Koepka. But here's the thing. Koepka had 5 majors, 4 of those 5 between 2017 and 2019. Scheffler has just 1, but he's won 9 or 10 tournaments in the last 2 years. Can you guys think of anybody else? And thanks a lot, fellas.
There you go. Well, during the news, because the Masters
We'll think
right around
about
the
it.
corner, there's only one more event on the PGA Tour before the Masters. The Culling and Water Hotline to join us is 342-63 news headlines, and we're back with hour number 2 on the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
East Lansing, a town square media station. Lansing sports leader. The Game, 7:30 a.m.
Hey, Tom.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Need a break from all the politics and bad news?
The Republicans had their chance. The Democrats are destroying this country.
We got you. The Game, 7:30 a.m. Politic free. Welcome to the second hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on The Game, 7:30 a.m. You can call the Dean on the Culling and Water Hotline at 517-300-4263 or drop him an email at tim.stout@wilx.com. Now, celebrating over 30 years on the radio in Lansing, here's the Dean of Mid-Michigan Sports, Tim Stout.
Hour number 2 is brought to you by the 2 wash roll locations here in the greater Lansing area. Okay, what a beautiful day for a wash roll at Okemos and Jolly Road or I-96 in the MLK exit. There's always free vacuum service at Wash World. Gift cards available, $2 off on Wednesdays, frequency discounts, and a whole lot more. The best wash, most significantly at the 2 Wash World locations in our area. Craig Ianni's in the studio with us. Culling and Water Hotline is 342-63. So now from your experience, because Michigan State gave you plenty of time, especially the first time, that the Spartans in the Izzo era went to the Final Four in 1999. Now Purdue's in there for the first time in 44 years. I can only imagine what the athletic department and ticket staff at Purdue is up to this week, trying to satisfy as many fans who want to go to Phoenix as possible.
Yeah,
That's got to be chaos. I mean, I don't know if you remember back to 99 when the Spartans went to Tampa.
I do.
Or to St. Pete.
It's even if you're prepared, you're not prepared. The first time, you have to have a plan. You have to have a ticket assignment plan in place. Okay, who's going to get the tickets? All right, that's the important thing. Who's going to get the tickets? Meaning donors. You got to categorize all these people: donors, students. Of course, the NCAA sets a block aside for the students, so the students are taken care of. But I'll tell you what, not enough students. There's never enough student tickets, particularly the first go round. Donors, season ticket holders, alums, former players.
Now,
they come out of the woodwork.
Does the athletic department also get asked by donors in that to help with either transportation or lodging there at site? Because I would
lodging, yes, because the other thing the NCAA does, I don't know if this has changed or not. You not only get a block of tickets, you get a block of rooms. Okay, and they're yours.
To do what you want.
They're yours, yeah. And if you don't use them, it costs you. Okay, it costs you. They just give you the room. They don't give you free rooms. They give you rooms. All right. So what you do is you try and it took us a while to get this straightened out too. You assign, if you buy tickets, you're going to get a room too. So we package that together because you don't want to get stuck with those rooms.
Yeah,
it can eat into the profits, so to speak. So it's those. Nobody in the Purdue athletic department is having fun. It's work.
Oh, I can only imagine.
It is flat out work, and then the complaints. You think everybody is. This is one of the high points in Purdue athletic history. Right?
Oh,
Would you not say?
No question.
The Rose Bowl, they went to Rose Bowl a couple times, and they've been to a Final Four, but that was 1980.
But that's a basketball state.
It is.
With a tradition-rich school at Indiana University, and here's Purdue's been dominant.
It's probably bigger. Probably is the biggest thing that's happened to Purdue.
And they've invested a fortune to try to get football better, and it's better from where it was.
Correct.
But it ain't nowhere near where basketball can consistently seemingly be.
No. And so what happens is, Tim, is that people, you have to draw a line somewhere. Who gets tickets? Who doesn't get tickets? Who gets access to 4 tickets? Who gets access to 2 tickets? Et cetera, et cetera. And you don't make everybody. You've been through it here.
Well, I remember in 1999, thank heaven, we were hosting the coaches. We had Izzo's show.
Yeah.
So I asked, and it made all the other media furious, but we got to fly with 2 or 3. Well, you were there. 2 or 3 of us were on the team plane.
Right.
So we're going up and down the aisles and all that. And I remember the team plane was a regular-sized plane.
Yeah, it was 757.
Yeah, we had. So I mean, there were a lot, and we all got out at the airport, and then and we all sat in the back, and the front was reserved. And that bus where the players came out on the tarmac, they got on, and because they weren't in the plane when we got on the plane.
That was prior to 9/11.
Yeah. So we just walked down, got on the plane. We all had our assigned seats, and it was a regular flight. But the team in the bus, I mean, they literally got off the bus, the door closed, and away we go. And the players were sequestered in front of the plane with a
well, they sat first class.
They sat first class. Yeah. And then so he wandered back through the plane and all that. But we went with the team. And remember, then the other half, after State got knocked out, there was a huge issue down there about be careful because it's against the law, at least it was in 99, to scalp tickets, which, of course, everybody did.
Right.
Once State got knocked out. And then, remember, there was a plane issue, and we had to stay.
Well.
We had to stay an extra day.
I had to make the decision.
Yeah, but if we're staying an extra day in Florida at that resort, out on the beach at Clearwater.
It's the only time I got a standing ovation from 250 people.
But you know what's incredible about that memory of that day? What I remember, so the day of the game, the semifinals, they had that massive pep rally out on the beach. With that tent up.
Yep.
So the teams that are shoot around, and Izzo's going to come out and speak, and maybe a player, whatever it was, but they were delayed because they got in traffic. So I'm trying to remember who it was. It may have been Braverman's trying to figure out time. So he wasn't what he is now. Jim Harbaugh, because Crean was on the staff, so Joni's there. So your brother, Jim Harbaugh, who wasn't even a coach then.
Right.
He had just got done playing. They grab him, go up on the stage, and just say something and wish the Spartans luck. And he no more wanted to do that. But I'm thinking, realize 25 years later, the guy just left after winning the national title at Michigan, and he had to help kill time at the MSU basketball. Were you there for that? You remember that?
No, it's with the team.
Oh, it was a classic. And he didn't know what to say. He's up there. But there were like 5, and they're all revved up and ready to go because you're in Florida, and the weather's great, and they're on the beach, and the band's there. The cheerleaders are there, and the donor, everybody's there, and they're all ready to go. And finally, it took a while to get him back. And then State played the first, no, it's the second game. We played the anchor game, I think.
Yes. We did.
Yeah, because it was Connecticut and Ohio State.
Correct.
In the first game. Scooney Penn.
Yep.
And Purdue's going to get the same thing because the weather in Phoenix will be like the weather in Florida.
Yeah.
Because so then the next
there's the second game. Purdue's the second game.
What if you remember what happened that the plane couldn't take the team home on Sunday?
There was a problem with a wheel that had to be replaced, and so they said, look, we can't. It's going to take 4 or 5 hours. We're going to fly the wheel in, and we got to all this stuff. Okay, so it was going to be 5-6 hours. So all these people had checked out of their rooms. So I said, they said it's going to cost $1,800, $1,800, $2,800, whatever. And I said, well, that's their problem. That's not ours. I said, so Peggy Brown was our assistant athletic director, associate athletic director for business at the time, and she worked with the hotel people and the plane people. And so I said, can we have our rooms back? And she called and said, oh yeah, we got them for, you got them for 4 days. You got the rooms, so no one's coming in afterwards. So I said, okay, the heck with it. We're staying another day. Said, let the airline, they can figure it out, but we're not going to pay that bill.
And so Mateen Cleave's mother was sitting, she was at the pool for forever. It couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, yeah.
And so the players had gotten rid of their tickets. What I also remember was when we got back to the hotel the night of the loss to Duke, and, State made that tight at the end.
Oh, yeah.
That was a tight game.
Close.
It was close.
Yeah.
But it's a loss. And I remember after midnight, I don't know, I was running around the lobby for whatever reason, and Tom Crean was on a payphone. He was on a payphone, and finally he hung up and he turned to me, and I'll never forget, I said, who in the world? The cell phones weren't quite as prevalent, and he said, it's Marquette, should I take the job or not? Because he just offered. And he took it. He didn't take it right then and there.
Right.
But he's telling me that. He says, I just got off the phone with Marquette. They've offered. Should I take it? And I didn't know how to respond to that. I didn't know. I thought maybe he's on with his parents or whoever he's on with. And then he left, and of course he became the head coach at Marquette and got Dwayne Wade out of that.
And went to the Final Four.
Went to the Final Four, and Dwayne Wade helped him get there. And I always thought in my mind, it's amazing how players can help coaches at times. How much money did Crean, because you got the Indiana job off getting to the Final Four, how much money did Dwayne Wade make Crean in his career as a coach, just having that one player? Pretty strong. And imagine if there was name, image, and likeness money then where you had to keep Dwayne Wade happy at Marquette.
Right.
As it is now. I mean, how much of this has changed, I don't know. But I thought yesterday after Purdue beat Tennessee, that's all great for the players and blah, blah, blah. But now Purdue's athletic department's going to have to figure out how to keep these massive basketball fans who will fill Mackey Arena and will say they've done it for years, but now I can't get tickets.
Well, the other issues, too, Tim, is non-basketball fans take the avenues through the administration to get tickets. Okay, and so you know how that goes. You know, everybody's got an angle. You know, and so you've got to get a hold of that thing up front. Now, hopefully, they've had conversations about that weeks in advance in preparation, saying if this happens, we have to have a plan. And because the year, I think the year before I retired, South Carolina got into the Final Four unexpectedly. And I have a good friend I went to graduate school with who was a senior associate director down there, and he called me. He says, "What do we do? Help me. Give me some guidance here and tell me what I should look for." And so we talked on the phone, but I said, it's going to be the most exhilarating time. And you might as well put on a metal suit because you're going to get the crap beat out of you because it's just a tough time because you can't make everybody happy.
And, you know, for all the criticism through the years the NCAA took for putting the Final Four in football stadiums, imagine if it was like 79 when State played in the basketball arena at the University of Utah.
You get 500 tickets.
You get 500 tickets. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So that's why they put it in the football stadium, is to try to alleviate that to some degree.
Here's the other kicker, Tim, and you know this too because you've been to enough of these Final Fours. You go in there and you've got big donors who are sitting, and you know where those seats are. They're not great seats. They're okay. But you look over and there's all the beautiful people at mid-court. CBS sponsors, NCAA sponsors, all folks from the organizing committee in the city you're in. They're on the mid-court.
That used to drive Hollis nuts.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, drove us all nuts.
Hollis nuts because those are all the sponsors from the advertising.
CBS people.
They're all in the middle right there. They got the best seats.
Coca-Cola, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Hershey, all that.
We got a donor that just gave us how many million, and now we can't get him in some place where he needs to be to keep him happy.
No.
But I would imagine every school's got to deal with that.
Absolutely. It's part of the Final Four. You go in there and all those seats, from baseline to baseline, the good seats, they're all...
Well, not only that, when State was in Minneapolis the last time, I don't know, I was kept here, but my wife went with a Spartan donor because he had another seat, and he asked her if she wanted to go. So long story short, she went up there because she had a friend. And this is a prominent Michigan. She sent me a picture on her phone because I figured, well, you're going to be right in the middle.
Yeah.
And she was in the end zone 5,000 rows.
Oh, yeah.
And then State got beaten. Like she said, here you can resell the tickets, but the brokers say that seat could be empty Monday night. It's so bad that there's not enough demand because the demands for the Final Four, the championship game wipes two teams out.
Yeah.
So now you got a better chance to get a ticket for the championship game.
You know what's interesting? You learn these things when you go through them, Tim. When we played in our first regional in Greensboro, remember that? We played North Carolina in that game. And North Carolina had Carter, and they had they had a great band.
Antoine Jameson.
They were good. And we were young, and it was the experience we had to have. So we're sitting there. We had pretty good seats. It was in the Greensboro Coliseum, and seats about 18,000. And the game's over, and all of a sudden, our fans, and we only had about 300 tickets then, 350. Our fans are inundated by people wanting to buy tickets. I mean, and they came out of nowhere, and they're right in your face. And it was very unnerving for a lot of people. We'd never been through that before, and but we caught on quick. And then, of course, all the people. When you go to Final Four and you got a decent seat and you lose, and those guys, all they're doing is, our fans would just hold their ticket up. If they were heading home, they just hold their ticket up, and all of a sudden here comes some guy with a wad of bills, and he's just, here you go, I'll give you $400 for that ticket.
So I'll tell you the story when we get out of the break of the St. Louis Final Four when the brokers would, because North Carolina's killed the state.
Correct.
I mean, they're and with 4 minutes to go on the other side of the floor on the court, you can see like 20 of them climbing through the seats with wads of cash, trying to get.
St. Louis was the worst. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
But I got in a fight with Doc because she texted me and said, I've sold our seats. I said, no, you can't. I just sold them. And we had to call one of them back and tell. And you know where I made the transaction was at the men's room in the basement at one of the hotels. I thought this guy could be Al Capone for all I know. But it was worth it. But now I don't know if you've got paper tickets anymore.
Good point.
If they're on a phone, game over.
Yeah, good point.
All right, we'll be right back. Mexican food like nowhere else. The Qdoba restaurants in our area, especially Okemos East Lansing and Clifford Street, Frandor, serving customized burritos, crave-worthy tacos, and so much more. You can order online, and there are many health-oriented options as well. Great for carry-out and catering. In Okemos, call 580-8121. Always popular, always tasty, with great service every day. Qdoba for the Mexican taste sensation everyone enjoys every day in every way. You'll love the Mexican Qdoba restaurants.
Buying a home is an important decision. So when you're ready, you want to work with a financial partner you trust. You won't find a more personal loan experience than at Mercantile Bank, because to us, it is personal. Our lenders are in your local community and work for you, so you can feel confident you're getting honest advice from start to finish. When you find your happy place, Merc is here. To learn more, visit mercbank.com/mortgage. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The official printer of Stout on Sports, the best printer, best print shop I've seen in the area, ASAP Printing in Okemos. West Jolly Road on the strip mall just off Okemos Road. Ed Giles got it. It's easy to find. You park right in front. It's clearly marked. 349-7300 with any questions. ASAP Printing. All right, if you need signage for getting your people back to work, floor decals, informational posters, yard signs, banners, all that because of the pandemic or anything, that's ASAP Printing, where no job is too big or too small in Okemos. Have you tried Penn Station East Coast Subs? There's 2 locations convenient in our area, Clifford Street, Frandor, and across from the Lansing Mall. Always a monthly special. And for April, how about the Italian subs? And you get it as a special as well. Either dine in or carry out. And from the Clifford Street Frandor location, you can go ahead and order online, pick it up late, take it home after the restaurant closes later on in the evening. Fantastic food from Penn Station East Coast Subs every day of the year.
Hey, y'all. Darius Rucker here. You know, a lot of people ask me, what inspires your music? And one of the big things is a strong sense of place. That's why I love my home state of South Carolina and want to share the awesome things it has to offer. From the beautiful mountains down to the sunny coast, it's got it all. Not to mention 2 of my personal favorites, great golf and amazing food. Come see why I love this place. Visit discoversouthcarolina.com.
Learn more.
The iconic Coral Gables restaurant on Grand River Avenue in East Lansing, more than 90 years young, with so many loyal customers, so pleased that Coral Gables has survived the pandemic and is bigger and better than ever. Catering, carry-out, employment opportunities, all of that at 337-1311. And the fish fries are spectacular on Friday night. When you've got some time to spare with friends and family, you know what the history's been like around that restaurant just east of the campus, Grand River Avenue. You'll always enjoy Coral Gables Restaurant, East Lansing. Hey, Michiganders, take them back. For decades, the state returned 90% of bottles and cans, making the state number 1 in the nation. Today, Michigan is only returning a disappointing 75%. State can do better, and it starts with you. Michigan's 10-cent deposit is a convenient and simple way to keep the streets, parks, and waterways clean, all while conserving valuable resources. These are your roads, your lakes, beaches, and your dimes, so take them back. The message brought to you by Schupan, a Michigan company delivering sustainable material solutions since 1968. Since 1984, DBI, they do office, everything for the office at 912 East Michigan Avenue in Lansing. DBI provides workspace solutions from pens and paper to space planning and movable walls. One call, one source, one solution. Every everything for the office. Whether it's for your business or your home office, nobody does it better than DBI. Again, 485-3200. The best deals, the best options, the best planning. DBI of Lansing. We've got a high five to Greg Sinacropi and everyone who has built Arts Pub into an iconic location on Kalamazoo Street in downtown Lansing. It's a great game day hangout, serving a wide menu of pub grub and pizza, plus a shuffleboard table. Dine in or take out. Closes at 11 p.m. and the menu can be found online at artspublansing.com or call 977-1033. Serving all 3 labor shifts in the city with wonderful fare. Arts Pub, Kalamazoo Street. Have a great time there in Lansing. Beautiful day for a touch-free car wash, okay, from Lake Lansing Road Mobile, right across from the Eastwood Town Center, and they'll fix your vehicle in their service base Monday through Friday. You just call 484-2300, and you'll be in and out right away. You get 25 cents a gallon off the price of gas with a touch-free car wash. And in the Eastwood Town Center, remember, there's a Culver's right by Walmart there. That one Culver's, when you order, mention Stout on Sports, they'll discount the entire price of your order by 10%.
From Spartan Stadium to Ford Field, we've got the sports opinions that matter to you. From the Driven Collision Studios, we make friends by accident. On the Game, 7:30 a.m. 7:30 a.m.
On we go here from the Driven Collision Studios. Greg Ianni in the house with us. The only other time, Greg, I can imagine in your career, and I'm just guessing this now, in a football bowl game setup, you usually, you got about 3 weeks to a month, okay?
Yeah.
And yet for the Rose Bowl game, the demand, even though you're dealing with thousands of tickets, but the demand for that, the problem with the Final Four is you don't know you're in that thing till Saturday or Sunday. You got to leave Wednesday, whatever it is, and you got then you're going to play the next week. And for Purdue, they got 6 days. They play in 6 days.
Right.
Football, you get a little bit more. But I would imagine the Rose Bowl had to be probably a little bit more chaotic because that was a demand on the tickets you got for the Rose Bowl.
Oh, huge demand. Yeah, it was a huge demand. And again, fortunately, we were able to use, Tim, the system that we had put together for the Final Four and who gets the tickets and allocations and so on. And we had fine-tuned that over the years, so at least we had the allocations right. But again, Tim, there's the Rose Bowl is such was such a special. It just meant so much to the community, to the university community, to alumni, to go to the Rose Bowl, and the demand was incredible.
I think there were people at the Rose Bowl that I remember seeing that I don't know if they ever attended a home Michigan State football game. And if they did, they didn't go to all of them.
Yeah.
But this was the happening. The other thing I claim that makes an impact on this is the setting. If you go to one of these bowl games or even a regional in the tournament and it's winter or it's north and you're just going for the game, but when you're going to an exotic area, which is also vacation heavy, now you get more out of the trip, even if your team, team loses.
That's right.
You're in a great setting for whatever it is, whether it's Vegas or where the South, wherever, Florida, whatever. You can play golf. You can go to the beach. There's just a lot of things to do beyond. But if it's just the game itself and you lose, then it's tougher.
Right.
It's just a tougher deal. The demand to me, maybe is off a little bit. But how would it be for North Carolina State? Because that's a Johnny-come-lately. I mean, they heated up for the tournament, the ACC tournament. They went 5-5. And like Brock says, Oakland nearly knocked them out. They had to go overtime to beat Oakland.
Yeah.
And they're in the Final Four.
In the Final Four, which is an amazing story.
And it had to be incredible yesterday because they're playing their in-town rival Duke yesterday. And Duke's the one that's all hoity-toity with North Carolina. But here's little NC State over here, the common man school of those three in the Research Triangle area down there. And North Carolina State just takes Duke right on out.
Took them out. Yeah.
It's amazing. Rick is in East Lansing on the Cullingwood Water Hotline. He's next on the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Morning, Rick.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, when you talk to Ellis, make sure that you kind of sure he's an hockey expert, but my thought on it was Michigan played a great game, and it's tough to play somebody 6 times. But from a refereeing standpoint, when all the games that I watched were reffed in a certain way and they really weren't calling a lot of penalties, and then all of a sudden they're just calling penalties here left and right. And I just wonder how much trying to kill 6 penalties took out of state.
Thanks, Rick. You watched the whole game last night?
I did.
What was the demand for hockey? I mean, even when State won the thing in 2007, that was Grand Rapids. Hockey's more of a niche sport relative to demand, correct?
Correct.
I mean, had State have won and got to St. Paul, that would have been but they sell a lot of those Frozen Four tickets way in advance.
They do.
They want to make sure that's sold out.
Sure it's sold out, yeah.
And I thought last night, everybody complained about that arena, but I saw half those seats empty last night. So why is the arena too small if I see all these seats that were empty for the Michigan State game last night?
That's a good point. I don't know how the tickets were sold, Tim. I don't know if the other teams that were there, North Dakota and Western Michigan, if they had to buy their tickets for the tournament.
I mean, Adams said each school got 400. Okay, so 2 of them are going out, so that takes out 800 right there for the 2 teams that got beat, Western Michigan and the other one. So, but I thought to myself, how many Michigan and Michigan State, unless they're alumni from the area,
correct,
which would be different, but how many are going to get in for 7 hours to drive down there to watch the hockey game when you can watch it on TV?
Yeah.
And I might save my resources if we win tonight, either one of the schools. Then I'll go to St. Paul and go for the Frozen Four.
Right.
The Frozen Four is pretty good.
Yeah,
we went to the one when Notre Dame was in it a few years ago, and we had to go to the secondary market to get the tickets too, because and they come from every school, and they wear all their jerseys of their school, so that the teams playing, it's not just what I remember that Frozen Four. I couldn't believe how many people were there from Duluth. Oh my golly, I don't know how they got. It was Chicago. They got down there. Harvard was in the thing, and they couldn't have had 200 people there. Harvard ain't Duluth. And Notre Dame, I'm trying to remember who the fourth was. And the Notre Dame played the second game, and boy, Tommy's drecked his shirt and all that. The end of the first period, Notre Dame's down 6-1. The game's over. And by that, we didn't even stay till the arena's almost empty because you've been there, and the first game went overtime. Harvard got beaten overtime. And I think Duluth won the whole thing. Duluth was, and their following is massive for hockey. For hockey, because they're Division I. They're not Division I in anything else but hockey. And you can get to Chicago. You can get there. And I was in the Bulls are, where the Bulls and the Black
United Center.
United Center's good.
Nice building.
But you know what they didn't do? The shocked area, they didn't sell beer there because everybody thought, well, they'll sell beer. They didn't. There was no alcohol at that thing a few years ago. Maybe it's just as well but it looked to me like a lot of those people had bought those tickets way, way in advance.
Yeah.
And if because they're college hockey fans.
Right.
Yeah, if my school's not in it, okay, but I'm going to go watch the games.
Yeah, here was the problem, Tim, with the site they were at. When the tickets became available, all right, I'm sure they came and said, hey, we've got to the Michigan and Michigan State, hey, we got 400 more tickets for you if we want them. Well, the problem is who's going to drive, who's going to drive in and, you can't plan for it. It's a holiday weekend. It's just difficult to move those tickets. So I'm not surprised that there were some empty seats in that building.
Well, even on Friday for the Western Michigan game and the first game of the 2, because the second game, Brock, was North Dakota and Michigan.
Yeah.
So even in the first game, when that thing came on at 5 o'clock Friday, I was amazed at how small the crowd was. Now they started to filter in because some of those North Dakota, Michigan fans, they didn't necessarily want to watch 2 full hockey games. That's a long, they're 2.5 hours, 30, 40 minutes between them, so you're there 6 hours.
Exactly.
In the place. And whether Western Michigan sold them all or not, I don't know. Yeah. But there were a lot of empty seats that I saw during the telecast on Friday. Now, whether they all filled in for this, but I would imagine if you're in Western Michigan and you got beat, I mean, are you going to stay there and watch the second game? Maybe some did, some didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But boy, it looked like Little Caesars Arena yesterday. That thing looked jammed.
That place was rocking.
And Purdue had a lot of people there.
That building, you wonder how many times that building has been that loud. I mean, think about it. The Pistons have been awful since they moved in there. The Wings have not made the playoffs since they moved in there. I mean, that game yesterday was, you know what? It wasn't pretty. but it was a great game.
Oh, because you didn't know who was going to win.
It was a great game.
I mean, just when I had, Tennessee was up in that thing 32-21,
Yes.
and, Purdue's players are all looking at each other, and he calls timeout, and I thought, now the whole thing, and I kept thinking to myself, the whole thing comes down to whether Tennessee can make shots. If they do, they're good. But then they missed.
Yeah.
They kept missing. Well, Purdue's going to rebound it.
And they got, the other thing was they got nothing inside. Tennessee got nothing inside.
Nothing.
Their shots were
that was that connect. If he doesn't connect, connect.
They had tough shots. They had to make outside shots, and you know what? There were two great players on the floor.
Yeah.
Tennessee never quit. Purdue, it looked like they got out to 7 or 9, and then Tennessee come back, cut it to 3, and it was just a great college. And the environment, it came right through the television set, Tim.
But I thought there were times at Tennessee, you got to get one of the other 4 of you guys out here. Got to help him.
Yeah,
you got to score for him. And they take some and you could tell they're trying to stop that connect.
Yeah.
So somebody else is open, and he miss. And if you miss against Purdue, they're going to rebound.
They are. And you know what? Purdue's defense is pretty darn good. They play good team defense, and which is a strength of their team, I think. And because they didn't shoot it very well yesterday either. They only were 3 for 13, 3 for 15 from 3-point.
They did. Yeah, no, that's to me.
Struggled.
I mean, the complaints against them are, including me, are their guard. That was the rap on them last year.
Yeah.
Those guards are freshmen, and they get beat by Fairleigh Dickinson. Now they got through, but I thought their opening week draw, they got Grambling and Utah State. Now they buried both of them, so they were feeling good. And I thought, now and Gonzaga. Matthew didn't think they played that great against Gonzaga, but you know what? They won it by 12. They won.
Purdue, by the way, was 3 for 15 from 3. They shot 45% from the field, but Tennessee they were 11 of 26 from 3, but only shot 39% for the game.
But how many of those are Edey dunks?
Well, a lot of them. A lot of his shots in close.
I mean, to his credit, instead of getting it blocked, you put your hand on him on a dunk at your own risk because your hand may not come back because it's going down hard.
I think our only chance for a potential good championship game is a Purdue UConn matchup. But I'm not even sure Purdue. I don't know how Purdue will do against UConn. They're so balanced. They do everything so well, that they're awfully good.
Well, I'll be curious to see can Alabama handle it because Alabama's got athletes, and they're an underdog.
They were behind early in that game, and all of a sudden they started raining in 3-pointers from everywhere. They got athletes.
I think you got to take Alabama seriously.
You're darn right.
That coach, he coached at Romulus High School.
Romulus High School, yeah.
Nate Oates.
Yeah.
Nate Oates, yeah.
I don't know. Alabama's still there. It's a football school, but they're still there. And I thought Clemson was pretty good, and Alabama took them out.
Clemson had a good run. They're a good team. Good team.
But Connecticut is just, I don't know where he got them all, but he's got them.
Oh,
man, he's got them.
No question.
More in a moment. This is the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. More with Greg Ianni for the rest of this hour and probably in the 12 o'clock hour as well. At 1, ESPN Radio. Then at 3, The Huge Show. And at 6:45 tonight, it is Red Wings hockey as they are at the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's 6:45 pregame. On 1240 WJIM, Detroit Tigers baseball. Tigers at the New York Mets. First of a 3-game series. That's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
You're looking for a little quaint bistro for a getaway at any time after work? Well, the hot one in the area, as usual, in East Lansing Sidebar. Right next to Abood Law, Abbott and Saginaw. It's wonderful for lunch or dinner or any special occasion where you don't want a jam-packed crowd, but there are televisions there to watch all the big games and a nice, quiet getaway. Try Sidebar. Google Sidebar. Take a look at what all they have for you. A wonderful menu, quaint, cozy atmosphere. Sidebar in East Lansing. One of the great success stories I've seen in Lansing business through the years is the growth of Desmond Ferguson's Moneyball Sportswear, founded in 2002. The former standout area basketball player already has a gorgeous store in the Meridian Mall, and his new headquarters location now at 927 West Saginaw in Lansing, it's up and running. Moneyball outfits hundreds of athletic teams worldwide, and its athletic leisure wear draws rave reviews. If you have questions, call 393-0763. You're a winner when you outfit your team or yourself in Moneyball sportswear. Way to go, Desmond Ferguson. Moneyball, the only way to ball. Mid-Michigan Tax and Accounting is moving to a new location. The number is the same, 694-9545, for Deb Alderding and her staff to give you the best tax and accounting help you'll find anywhere. The new address, all right, is located on the north end of Lansing near State Road. 15851 South US 27, Building 20, Suite 21. And if that's too much for you, call and get the directions. 694-9545. A new location now for Mid-Michigan Tax and Accounting. Prestige Wine Imports. Importers of a distinguished and diverse portfolio of high-quality Italian wines from the Italian Alps to Sicily. Well, they've now made their way to the Mid-Michigan area, and the Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines are as popular as ever with Mid-Michigan wine enthusiasts. You can find the Sono Rossos and Mezza Coronas at Dusty's Cellar in Okemos on Grand River Avenue. Ask Matt Rhodes about those, and maybe he'll give you a taste test. Or Horrocks on the west side. Sono Rosso and Mezza Corona wines, you'll love them.
QC Connecticut. Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
The Lansing Sports Commission is your resource for sports tournament and event planning in Michigan's capital region. As a full-service sports commission, they work with you on every aspect of your event, as dedicated to its success as you are. Greater Lansing, so convenient to reach and easy to navigate. The region is full of well-equipped lodging, first-rate athletic venues, entertainment options for the team, and so much more. No matter the size of your event or the sport you're coming to play, you check it all out with the Lansing Sports Commission for your next great event. The Emerald, one of the great public golf courses in all of Michigan, just north of St. John's. You make your plans for 2024 now. You want your outing at the Emerald for 2024. Choose the Emerald for your next special golf event and let their staff show you what a golf outing is about at 224-6287. And the Emerald is a great place to host your social events, from intimate gatherings to parties and receptions. Jay and Katie Eccleton will take good care of whatever you want any time of the year at the Emerald.
For more than 60 years, Dean Transportation and Dean Trailways have connected students to learning, public schools to our communities, sports teams to their championships, and you to a purpose-filled career. As the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics, Dean Trailways is the state's premier motor coach provider, connecting you to pure Michigan experiences. To learn more about group travel and to join the Dean team as our next champion driver, visit DeanJobs.com today. That's DeanJobs.com.
Dean Transportation is hiring school bus drivers and service technicians to support Lansing schools and Ingham ISD. Bus drivers start at up to $22 and competitive wages for service technicians. Dean has immediate openings and provides CDL training with increased starting pay, benefit packages, flexible scheduling with weekday hours, and more. Dean Transportation is the career choice for you, and you can apply at DeanJobs.com and start training for your next route. Penn Station East Coast Subs, the monthly special for April, the Italian sub. There's always a special every month. Clifford Street, Frandor, and across from the Lansing Mall, dine-in, carry-out. You'll love Penn Station East Coast Subs. Tomorrow, half-price Coney's at Sparty's, Coney Island, and Frandor. They're open every day till 2. Whenever you're at Sparty's, be sure and tell Dominic behind the counter that we sent you.
If you know us, then you know we're all about sports. We're the Game, 7:30 a.m.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. So last week, Michigan introduced its new men's basketball coach, Dusty May. What's he getting into? And is it one of the huge things about him is that Michigan's brand compared to Louisville's brand, he seemed to think Michigan was a better fit for him, which says a lot because basketball in Michigan always haven't, been super duper every year. They've had success. And I guess I don't know what arrangements they've made with him, what commitments they've made with him, but I would think you've got to figure out a way, if he's going to come to Michigan, what are you going to do to help me get players? Because look at what I've got, look what everybody else in the league's got.
Right, no question. And I'm sure the name, image, likeness pool of money was a discussion item, and they had to make some kind of commitment for that. He wasn't going to come because I'm sure Louisville had a ton of that kind of money down there. So I personally, I think it's a pretty good hire, Tim. I think he's going to do a good job. And look, it's not hard to build a program at Michigan. Okay, you can go into any high school in the country and get players anywhere in the country. And that brand is everywhere. And it's strong. And so if all he's got to do is take the resources, the abundant resources they have in Ann Arbor, and if he's got half a brain, which I think he does, and knows how to use those kinds of things, I'm sure he's going to put together a quality program.
Well, I wonder the issue also. I don't know how legitimate it is, but Brock, they lost the Illinois kid Shannon, and they lost Caleb Love because they couldn't get him into school. So if it's an issue of trying to get, I've never heard of it anymore in modern college sports where we got a player, an athlete, but we couldn't get him into school because there's an academic issue. But apparently that was an issue, losing those two guys, that Juwan couldn't get him into school.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
Is that going to be an issue moving forward compared to I don't know how Michigan State does it or how Tom does it, although I don't remember where he's had an academic issue, at least publicly, with a player. And if you recall this last season, Brock, the guard, Doug, he missed the road games, 6
Doug
road games.
McDaniel.
He was allowed to play the home games, but not I don't know what the academic issue was. They weren't real transparent on that, but he did come back. But even when he came back, they didn't win anything. Right. I'd be curious to know what Dusty May says this behind the scenes, not publicly, but behind the scenes. What do you expect from me to do, and how are you going to help me get to where you want to be?
Well, I'm sure he asked that question, and I'm sure he heard the right answers, or wouldn't have come because he had the Louisville job.
He had the Louisville job, and possibly Vanderbilt too.
Yeah.
Though, the way it works in college anymore, look at what that does to a school like Florida Atlantic. Not only can you lose your coach who's under contract, but he can go take any of those players because of the transfer portal.
Sure.
In the pros, you can't. If you take Belichick or you take Hart, whatever it is, okay, they can go change jobs, but you can't take his players from the NFL. They're all under contract.
Right.
But in a college, I want that guy, you guys go, well, Jonathan Smith, the quarterback of Michigan State's supposed to be Oregon State's quarterback. But he's got the freedom that he can change. To me, it makes the pros almost sound like amateurs compared to the colleges with the availability that players have for movement on their own whenever they want to go.
It looks like Louisville, under new coach Pat Kelsey's going to get College of Charleston's best player, or one of their two best players, because Kelsey just came from Charleston, and the guy from Charleston's going to go to Louisville to join his coach.
You can just raid the roster. You lose the coach that you have who's under contract, but any of those players, so then you lose the players. That you're left with nothing.
Yeah, and I would argue that will, if it hasn't already, it will. That situation is going to hurt college athletics.
Oh, no question.
Okay, because you have to have some stability in your program.
Yeah,
people have to be able to just to sell your program. All right, people have to know who's playing for you. They have to be able to relate. What are you selling? What are you selling? Well, right now, if you take Michigan, and and this is just an example because they're in a changeover situation. But who do they sell? What do they sell right now? Yeah, come buy season tickets at what? There's no players. There's.
And then there's 1,071 of these basketball players in Division I are in the transfer portal in 2 weeks. Just because they can do. To me, when you've got to have some kind of a disciplinary setup as to who can coach and play where, and they're for a while you've got them, and that's where it is. But when it's just a runaway renegade thing,
Yeah.
I mean, how's that supposed to work? Well, I'm thinking if you're in the administration at Florida Atlantic, and we educated these players and we gave them a scholarship and now they all just bailed and they're gone and Michigan's reaping the rewards. I'm just using this as an example because it's everywhere, right? And Jonathan Smith, look at the guys he's brought in here from Oregon State because they could do it.
Yeah.
But under the original transfer rules, if you had to sit out 1 year, how many of those guys do you think would be in a portal if they had to sit out 1 year? But the NCAA messed itself up because they never administered that rule across the board equally.
Correct.
I claim if they would have done it, they wouldn't have had this transfer portal at all.
Yeah, I agree.
They would never have. And to
right.
me, the system worked because that still gave an athlete an opportunity to go play elsewhere. But there was a relative amount of risk in it and discipline in it that once you commit the first time to that school, but before you leave, you understand that you're going to, you need a deterrent to that. But you could still do it. Right. Now it's just a renegade thing, one way or the other. It's just,
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
I mean, I wonder how much time Tom Izzo is spending trying to keep his own players as opposed to go getting new players or his staff.
Yeah, Tim, that knife cuts both ways, though. It also has increased the opportunity for coaches to get rid of players, to get rid of athletes that they recruited to say, and you're not good enough. Ianni, you're not good enough. Why don't you go play? You're not going to be able to play here, so why don't you go play? Get yourself in the portal, and that's happening too, Tim. So, and that's behind the scenes, and coaches don't want to talk about that. It used to be called running players off. Okay, they don't want to talk about that now. So that knife's cutting both ways.
No, it does.
It cuts both ways. So, I have mixed. You know what, Tim? I think when you sign that letter of intent as a freshman, it should commit you to that school for X period of time. Okay, so maybe it's 2 years. Maybe you got to stay 2 years. Football, you got to stay 3 years in football with your class. You may only play 2 years, but if you're the class of 71, then in 74 you can leave, whether you've only played in 72, 73. So, those are good rules. And why won't that change in football to go to the NFL? Because you can't play NFL football as an 18-year-old. You'll get killed. You'll literally get killed. There's not an athlete anywhere 18 years old who could go to the NFL and play.
Barry Switzer said he only saw 2 athletes that he recruited that could have played in the NFL at 18. One was Earl Campbell. He said without question he could have made a pro team. Yep. And Marcus Dupree.
Yes. Okay.
Physically, I mean,
well, they're exceptions to everything.
Right.
They're exceptions to everything.
But, so, why not come up with, and again, this isn't going to happen, Tim, until they get some way to negotiate, to bargain this whole thing out, okay? That's what's got to happen. I don't know how that's going to happen. If they're going to become employees of the institution, and nobody wants that to happen. But there's got to be some kind of a bargaining deal because it's been proven, Tim, that this top-down thing, the top being the NCAA, can't make a rule and
it immediately gets overturned.
It gets overturned in the courts. So it's going to you're going to have to sit down here and let's talk this, let's negotiate this. But who's going to negotiate for the players? Who's going to that's the problem now.
But where I'm going to be curious, depending on how this works out, with the courts saying that these athletes are employees of the university, an employee at Michigan State can be a professor, a janitor, a policeman without having to go to school.
Right.
So if you're an employee, like they're an employee, can you be hired as an athlete for a team, but you never have to enroll? Is it going to come to that? Who knows? And which completely defeats the entire purpose.
I wouldn't think so.
Of what upper education was to be with athletics on the side as it was.
I would say if you're an employee, fine, but you can't play sports unless you're enrolled as a student as well. I mean,
that makes sense.
Happening.
Does it make legal sense? If it gets pushed into the courts that this employee, I mean...
Well, the university can do whatever. They can set whatever rules they want as a university.
Well, but will all of them across the board go along with that?
That's the problem. They won't. And that's why you've got this situation that we started talking about earlier, that Michigan must have tougher transfer rules to get into the University of Michigan than some of the other schools
they have
do.
To.
It has to be that way. And you know what? They have that choice as an academic institutions to set their rules the way they want to set them. So
more after the news. Calling Water Hotline 342-63. This is the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
I can't believe
The Game, 7:30 a.m. Streaming the best and non-stop sports talk now for all of Lansing in the free Game 7:30 a.m. app. Tap in today. Welcome to the third and final hour of the Sparrow Stout on Sports, starring Tim Stout on The Game, 7:30 a.m.
Hour number 3 this morning is brought to you by Capital Region International Airport. They're excited about their new relationship with Breeze Airways. You can book flights right now in early October nonstop, Lansing to Orlando or Fort Myers on Breeze Airways, and their discount tickets. And they're excited, and they want to add more with Avello. Avello's done with that flight this week to Orlando, but then new ones are coming, and as soon as I get them, then we'll pass that on to you. Greg Ianni's still in the house. We always try to keep him for one more session after noon. You were involved in a lot of ways with some of the other sports, so I give you the numbers. It's amazing these numbers work out this way. First of all, there are 14 Big Ten schools, and they all have softball, which is the women's sport. You realize that Michigan State in softball plays 51 games in a regular season. They've played 32 so far, and their home opener is this Friday.
Yeah.
They've played 32 of their 51, and their home opening game of the season is coming up on Friday. And you better see them early because they're not going to be home for much.
No, the season's over, first week of May, I believe, isn't it?
They have
regular season.
They have, it is, and their home schedule is only essentially 3.5 weeks. Yeah. And I think to myself, how are you supposed to recruit or credibly have that kind of a varsity sport with that kind of a setup?
Their last game, by the way, is May 5th at Purdue.
Yeah, so they're home before that. That's on the road.
The last home game is May 1st against Oakland.
It's April 5 to May 1.
Yeah, and you know who gets the short end of the stick on this is the athletes. Okay?
Oh, there's no
They're
question.
They're playing in lousy weather. They don't get to play in front of their peers, in front of their family, in front of the home fans. They get none of that.
None of that.
And you know what? It's a problem, Tim, that no one wants to deal with. Okay, the baseball, softball thing in the northern states is a problem that no one wants to deal with, and I think it's sad. It's really sad, and it's all because, first of all, I was listening to you guys talk about this last week. First thing is, the southern schools are not going to change. All right, they're not going to vote or approve for any schedule that's any different than the way it is now, okay? That they are not concerned. The northern schools, you want to play baseball up north, this is what you have to deal with. We're not changing, all right? So you draw a line down south of, through the middle of the country, south of where weather is a factor, and the vast majority of the baseball playing schools are south of that line, so they're not going to change. So you've got, as northern schools then, are going to have to come up with some hybrid plan, Okay, so anytime I hear a Northern baseball coach say, well, we've got to move the season's not moving. The season is not moving. Those Southern schools are not going to vote to move it. So the North has to get creative here. They have to get creative. How do you, if you want to send a team to the college baseball, get them in the NCAA tournament, play a tournament in May, and send the winning team to the tournament, to the NCAA tournament. You're not getting any more than one school in normally anyways, all right? And then let's play let's start the baseball season up north in April and play April, May, June, or May, June, July. Okay, and let's let people then you can make some money at it, Tim. Then people are going to come watch these kids play.
And the classic last week,
I don't know.
Michigan State was playing Oakland over here in front of 30 people in winter coats trying to get the thing in. And that night, with all the basketball and hockey, that night, ESPN 2 carried the LSU at Arkansas baseball game, and if you didn't know, you'd think you were watching one of the opening games of the major leagues.
Right.
That place was packed, absolutely packed. And the weather, and this is Arkansas now. This isn't even Florida. This is Arkansas. Places, and you can tell these guys are all players and athletes and all that. The stadium's big. The stadium's a big deal. On the same day over here, through no fault of anybody personally, but that's what it's reduced to. Tomorrow night, State's supposed to play at Notre Dame in baseball. Then they're going, and I think the Crosstown Showdown is a terrific event, but it requires good weather, and we're not convinced it's going to get played. Andy thinks it's going to be snowing at game time, 40 degrees with 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds. And I always tell him these kinds of events are meant to be enjoyed, not endured. And when you try to jam this into the weather that we have here, it just more often than not doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't know what the solution. I would like to know. I would love to ask Barry Alvarez who made the call at Wisconsin way back then, because he cackles over this baseball in the Big Ten. He says, "Look at the money they're spending on these stadiums. They're never going to get it back unless they rent it out like Penn State does to minor league baseball, because they have a minor league team at State College. Others do too, but." I mean, the money that and Wisconsin says they never once have missed getting rid of baseball. He says, like, the university's still here. We still have an athletic department.
Right. Well, I would hate to see that happen here because baseball has a tradition. We've had some great players come out of Michigan State. Michigan's had some great players come out of Michigan. But we've got to get creative.
Well,
we've got to get creative.
To that end, Hollis was always one who was promoting fall baseball from August, when school gets open in early August, to whatever it is in October, where the major leagues play somehow, some way. See, the only thing about this, Greg, moving forward, they say, well, the South, they're never going to change. Well, they're under the direction of the NCAA, which is on the verge of implosion. Okay, so if there's no governing body that everybody is answering to, and I've always wondered, if I'm a northern school, I'd say, wait a minute. Who cares if they don't want to change? Don't we have an equal say in this as a school, as a major Division I school, just like they do? I mean, we have a say in this. And I always agreed with a guy at Minnesota who was there for years, the coach John Anderson. He said we should pull out. Let them call it their own national title, and 2 or 3 of these conferences, we're not going to do it. Well, we're out of it.
I agree with that. That's what I call getting creative.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to the NCAA. The NCAA is not going to implode. It's going to go down. What's going to implode is the NCAA's involvement with football. The NCAA is going nowhere.
So you think there'll still be governance of college sports by an NCAA, however it's restructured?
I think so. But I think football's going someplace else. I really do, Tim. But here's the other thing with the NCAA. Everybody points their fingers at, it's easy to go, well, the NCAA, that's the bad guy. You know who runs the NCAA? The college presidents run the NCAA. They run the NCAA. The NCAA makes decisions based on the direction college presidents want them to go. They run it. All right, we run it. The schools run it. Okay, so these crazy rules and all this we've put those in. The president of the NCAA, he doesn't have the juice to mandate rules. Those rules have to come from the membership, and and the membership is led by the presidents, and people don't quite understand that.
Well, for instance, of the major conferences, you can say that they've all got an equal shot across the board in football, men's basketball per se, for the most part. But I mean, when I watch LSU and Arkansas, I say, what, you're telling me, softball's worse. What, you're telling me Michigan State has an equal chance to compete across the board in softball that Oklahoma does? Come on. There's like you say, the ones that get the bad deal are the athletes. How do you recruit a top-notch softball player to come to Michigan State? What in the world are you selling? I'm not talking about just someone who wants to come to Michigan State to get an education and wants to play on a team, because that's as good as I can do. But if you're a top-notch softball prospect, and Michigan, and otherwise, what are you getting over? They play 3 weeks of home games in 45-degree weather.
Right.
I mean, it's insane.
And I'm amazed
you can get a coach over
there
here.
There's no initiative in the NCAA
to
change it. No initiative. No athletic director. I can't remember an athletic director in the conference who wanted to change it.
For instance, what if you took the Oklahoma softball coach and she makes a fortune? Let her come coach one of these schools in the Big Ten, see how easy it would be for her. Mm-hmm. She'd be under the same issues, okay?
Right.
You can be great at batting practice, and you can be good at telling somebody how to throw a curveball. Let her come up here, and let somebody else from up here go down to Oklahoma with the advantages Oklahoma has.
Look, there's only been, what I can remember, only one school in the Big Ten that was ultra competitive in softball, and that was Michigan. And that's because they had an extraordinary coach who used the resources and the image and the brand of the University of Michigan. She went to California and got kids.
Question.
She got kids to come. But she's a legendary figure in the sport. She's a great coach. All right. What's happened at Michigan now since she's left?
You knew it was going to falter to some degree.
So I don't know.
And the other thing was
tough.
with her, she sold Michigan softball enormously on the quality of a school that the University of Michigan is. She, like you say, she went to California and Sierra Romero. You're getting a Michigan education. Because they don't have the same pro opportunities that football and men's basketball players have, okay? But if you come here, okay, and look, as you say, she was as involved with the community, with all the events, with the athletes. She supported all the other sports. And I felt when she steps down, I don't care who follows her, that's going to be a tough act to follow. Yeah. And her assistant coach is the one that got the job, but they aren't nearly what they used to be.
You know, Tim, you used to pitch. When you were in high school, I pitched, played baseball in high school. There was nothing worse than playing baseball in high school in early April when it was 40 degrees and the wind's blowing. You can barely hang on to the ball. It gets to be like a slimy. It's just, and I remember one game I pitched the snow in high school, the snowflakes, where you have those quick squalls of snow come in and pass through. We're playing a game, and they kept coming through. And every time it would snow, I'd ask the umpire for a new ball. I wanted the whitest ball I could have. Okay, well, finally he said, hey, cut the shenanigans, let's play. But that's miserable, Tim.
Yeah.
And these kids are playing in this every weekend. Every day they play from here on out till hopefully the middle of April it turns around. In softball, their season will be just about over. And baseball, you'll have 2/3 of their season over.
But I can remember growing up over here at Michigan State before there was a Big Ten tournament, which I think is a complete waste of time. The regular season would go all the way to the end of May and went through Memorial Day. I can remember Memorial Day double because it was a traditional ending series with Michigan, which drew because you had a better chance at better weather.
And we went quarters.
And we went quarters
in,
then,
and we didn't get out of school till June.
Right.
And so the students were on campus. It was a beautiful time to be on campus. It was
great.
Gorgeous.
We have more often than not, because this field looks great. I mean, that ground crew over, how they get it looking like they do, even in this weather, is beyond me, but they do. I mean, look at the effort that's gone into that. But like Fred says in the office, Michigan State put lights into the baseball field, so they can play more night games in 38-degree weather? Now, the angle was, no, we want 4 o'clock games, and if they go little later in the
Right.
early part of the evening, we need to turn the lights on to get those games finished.
Yeah, we did it because the Big Ten Network pushed that too. So tell Fred that too.
I mean, it's tremendous for the Diamond Classic.
Yeah.
It's in June.
It is. I know.
And the high school baseball finals are in the third weekend.
You
in
go
June.
out there, and I've said this. You go out there and look at those. Those are the finest looking competitive fields in the country in June for
It's
those
the
high school
I mean,
tournaments.
you talk about a complex designed for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Soccer, softball, baseball, one place, one location, one time. Tremendous facility, beautifully constructed, all of them.
Thank you.
I mean, I think softball, frankly, is better than baseball. Baseball doesn't have a grandstand effect to it, and I think there's a couple of things that could have been, but nonetheless. But the softball thing, to me, what could possibly be nicer? It's right up against the river there. You got a beautiful backdrop. Every seat's a good seat. It's beautiful.
It is.
And it's in immaculate condition.
And the university community can't take advantage of that.
Which is sad. It's just too bad.
Yeah, Tim, it is.
I mean, they're 3.5. How much goes into keeping that thing for 52 weeks to use it for 15 home games or whatever they play in 3.5 weeks? That's what they do. And I mean, you're asking, and the only wins, they're 13 and 19, but the 13 wins for the most part are against Elon and Kansas City. I mean, understandably, they're trying to play teams they got a shot to beat because they don't have the same advantages the major schools in the South have.
Correct.
And like you say, I don't know how that's ever going to change, which is, essentially too bad. But I would guess everybody else in the Big Ten's got the same issue because, to your point, Michigan puts a lot of effort into softball, but they're nowhere near where they were.
There's only, Tim, 3 schools in the Big Ten where they're situated that can have decent weather during the season we play. Maryland, Indiana, and Ohio State's right on the border.
They're on the border.
They're right on the border. They usually get pretty good weather right around the middle of March down there. Otherwise, forget it.
It's brutal.
It is brutal.
Which is too bad because I think college baseball's got some intrigue to it.
Oh, it does.
When I see those games on the ACC network or ESPN, the other night I was saying, I'm watching Arkansas LSU. I said, if you didn't know, this looks like a major league game.
It does, and the games move along, and it's great stuff. It really is. It's a great sport to watch, and I just. It saddens me that we can't get people out. We can't play in a time of year where people would come out because I'll tell you what, Tim, they would come out.
Oh,
they would come out.
I tell him if you had a 70-degree night Wednesday night in this kind of clear sky for the Crosstown Showdown, you'd drive 7,000 people. But short of that, you're just trying to get it in if you're going to play it at all.
That's right.
And frankly, then are you running the risk of injury to players playing in substandard conditions? Yeah. I don't know. The Lugnuts are in town today, and for some of those guys, they're looking at this like, oh, this isn't too bad, although it's cold. The sun's out. Well, wait till they just get here for another couple of weeks.
Exactly.
You just wait and see what this is like around here for the next couple of weeks. All right. We thank Greg for coming in. So next week, on Monday, we'll be previewing the national championship game.
Yeah, who do you think it's going to be?
I think it'll be Connecticut and Purdue.
Brock?
But the moment I say that, one of those two between Alabama and North Carolina State's going to pull off an upset.
I picked UConn to win the whole thing. I think they're going to win it all. And it's a collision course, Connecticut and Purdue.
And
now that
Sunday,
Purdue got past Tennessee, I think it'll be Connecticut and Purdue.
And Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock in Cleveland, of all places, is the women's title game. Can anybody dethrone South Carolina? Now that Indiana came close, that'll give others hope, whoever
And
that
Oregon
might
State
be.
only lost by, 12?
Yeah.
12.
They had a chance.
So we'll see. All right. We thank Greg for coming in. We'll go to break, come back. What say you on whatever's going on? Brock will get you caught up. We got to get a Gillespie salute here. That's coming in a moment as well on the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports. It's the red-hot place in Lansing, in the Frandor Shopping Center, Sparty's Coney Islands. It's where all the world's problems get solved by everybody that loves the place, and it's only open till 2 o'clock each day. The breakfasts on Saturday or any other day are great, but those Sparty Coney Islands are fantastic. Catering, carry out the works, okay? Oh, there are other items on the menu, but on Tuesdays, you can get the Sparty's Coney Island Spectacular for half price, $1.99 for Coney's. That's on Tuesday. Sparty's Coney Islands in Friendor. Bull Janitorial, the name to trust in the commercial cleaning industry around mid-Michigan. They offer a wide range of janitorial, custodial, and maintenance services. In addition to professional cleaning services, they also supply materials and equipment such as restroom supplies and more. There is not another commercial cleaning company you'll find that does it all for you like Bull Janitorial. They're open 24/7 when you need help. Call them 694-6642. Great employment opportunities at Bull Janitorial as well. Of all the recommendations that I've ever given you on this program through the years, no one goes higher than the Munn team for real estate advice. John and Jan Munn work as hard as anyone in the business, trust me, and they truly are realtors who get results. John's cell phone, 881-6623. Jan's at 282-6781. And when they put the 1-2 whammy on a sale or to get you the best deal possible, you have the best people working for you. The Munn team, realtors who truly get results for anything real estate. A high five to Dewey Bramson's 3 great area restaurants of different offerings. Beggar's Banquet, Abbott Road, East Lansing, off the main strip. A superstar in the area since 1973. Great happy hours from 4 to 6 Monday through Friday with a wonderful wine and beer list, great for private parties. The Nut House, downtown Lansing, across from the ballpark. Michigan Avenue. Any great gathering is there for you before or after big events. And the Harrison Roadhouse, Michigan and Harrison in East Lansing, a bustling bar and grill with hearty pub grub and a whole lot more. Those are the great 3 from Dewey Bramson.
Spin your passion into a business with Shopify and break sales records with the world's best converting checkout. Let's hear that one more time. The world's best converting checkout. Shopify's legendary checkout makes it easier for customers to shop on your website, across social media, and everywhere in between. Now that's music to your ears. Any way you spin it, you can be a smash hit with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/records.
There's always great news at any given time from iDevelopment. We get the latest from Nathaniel Ide.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me. Lots going on in every part of the city, whether it's Lansing, East Lansing, Okemos, really any part of the greater Lansing area. For people who have office needs, retail, residential, we're here. We stand ready to help with any of your commercial real estate needs.
iDevelopment, serving so many people for so many years in so many ways. Google iDevelopment to see how they can help you. Congratulations to longtime Lansing family physician Dr. Thomas Jameson on his transition to practice with Capital Internal Medicine Associates, known as CIMA. Dr. Jameson's new office at 3955 Patient Care Drive in Lansing, and the phone number easy to remember for any health issues, 374-7600. And if you need any nutritional supplements or need a nutritional appointment, Debbie Jameson is there at 449-7188. The Jamesons are rolling along with great health care throughout mid-Michigan.
At Shaheen Cadillac of Lansing, you drive the future with luxury at your fingertips. Experience our lineup of eye-catching sedans and SUVs. Cadillac is the next generation of high-end technology where remarkable comfort and attention to detail change the way you drive. Meet with one of our product specialists today or begin your experience online at ShaheenCadillac.com.
Get this 2024 Cadillac XT6 for just $592 a month.
Relax and enjoy the Shaheen difference.
Spring has sprung, and the dandelions, are they coming to invade your lawn? Why not? They do everybody else's. Well, you can call Pure Green at 703-1111 to get started. Be the envy of the neighborhood with the best-looking lawn. Green grass, no dandelions, and they can do it at Pure Green with great pricing and prepaid discounts available. So don't wait. Call 703-1111. That's puregreenlawn.net, online for information there. Pure Green Lawn, taking care of your lawn all year long. One of the most popular restaurants in our area for years continues that way. Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road in East Lansing. As the saying goes, eat at Woody's, live longer with a Mediterranean cuisine. And now the menu has some wonderful new items they're all excited about. Chicken kafta, along with their Woody's burgers, gyros, fries, and a whole lot more. For all the information, the website, woodysoasis.com, or call 351-2280. Woody's. Eat at Woody's, Trowbridge Road, East Lansing, and live longer. On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. Don't forget the Munn team, John and Jan Munn. They're realtors who clearly get results. They want to help you in real estate any way they can, okay? John's cell phone to do just that is 881-6623. Jan's cell phone to do just that is 282-6781.
The Game 7:30 a.m. studio is powered by Driven Collision. We make friends by accident.
On we go from the Driven Collision Studios. Time now for our daily Gillespie Group Sparrow Stout on Sports High School Salute. The Gillespie Group is renowned for bringing positive change through creative real estate solutions. Many of their developments are recognized locally and nationally. Well, we're between seasons, winter and spring. We have the spring teams of the high school level getting ready to open seasons, and they're probably going to get recognized quite a bit this spring because there are a number of top-notch high school baseball teams in the area. The Okemos Wolves had a terrific season. They have most of their team back. They have the number one player in the area clearly back in Caleb Bonimer. Raul Presses, the coach, took his team to Florida where some 25 to 30 scouts at any one time watched the Okemos team work out. Okemos opens its baseball season at home with a doubleheader at 4 o'clock on Thursday against Mason, and Mason is considered a team that likely is going to have a good spring as well. High school baseball in the area may be a little bit more on the upside this season around the area, maybe than it has been in times past. We'll see. But for most of them, they all get underway with their schedules this week. The Gillespie Group's Block 600 is in the Stadium District. It's a hotel, grocery store, and an apartment all in one. You can live above the Capital City Market in the Block 600 lofts. You'll enter the grocery store without ever leaving the building. You want a Gillespie tour? They'll give you one of their properties whenever you want. It's 679-7364, 679-7364. I guess when you get...
Yeah, it's weird now because there are some schools that are just coming back from spring break today, and there are others that are just going on spring break because they always take their 1 week off for spring break, either last week or this week. But not everybody does it the same.
There are a number of high schools that are back. It used to be just a week. Now it's like 2 days the week before, Thursday, Friday, so you can get out of town. Then the full week.
This year was different because of Good Friday.
And a
lot of schools don't go to school on Good Friday either.
And Easter weekend next year is in late April.
Yeah, it's later.
So it's much later next year than it was this year. I guess it's because the moons line up.
I guess.
A week from today is the eclipse. Is that going to... I know it impacts the Cleveland Guardians because they've moved their time of their game in Cleveland next Monday back.
Yes.
Away from the eclipse.
Yes. Yeah. My sister's actually traveling down to Ohio to see the full solar eclipse.
Like what time of day? Does that affect our show in any way?
I don't think so.
I think
it's
after
in the afternoon.
1 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's in the
not?
afternoon.
I don't know how all that works out. I mean, obviously the weather guys, our Channel 10 weather guys, they'll be all over that for this week. What happens if there's cloud cover? Is that a problem if there's cloud cover?
Exactly.
Depending on where you are and when you are. What else do we have this week? Now, is there anything else that's coming up? Do we have any deadline? We don't have trade deadlines. We don't. Is coming up this week is opening day for the Tigers Friday. What if they come in with a 6-0 record? What if they sweep 3 from the hopeless, hapless Mets?
I'm hearing that the weather reports aren't good in New York for this week. They could get the game in tonight, but tomorrow and Wednesday are iffy.
Well, I can help you with that because I've got it right here in front of me. I can at least give you across the river in Hoboken because I have that.
Which is pretty close.
So let me see. So it says here for Wednesday for the Crosstown Showdown, a high of 45 and cloudy. Now I can get
chance of rain.
So let me check here because I've got it for tonight in the greater New York area. Today the high is 54 degrees, but there's an 85% chance of rain today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and the highs Tuesday and Wednesday in New York are 49 and 44. So it's just like what Greg just, you got.
Well, if they have a mutual day off Thursday, they could make it up that day or play they don't want to play a doubleheader. They don't want to do that with the opening day in Detroit on Friday afternoon.
Well, it's raining in New York now. Not a lot, but it's raining.
If it's just sprinkling, they'll play through that.
However, it's 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock tonight in the New York area, 53 degrees and cloudy. and it's supposed to be dry tonight, so they'll play at least tonight. So the Tigers, they're 3-0 for their quality dairy stats. They are 3-0 for the first time since 2016. There's no question they are absolutely off to a terrific start. Let's see. I've got emails here. Hi, guys. Would it be creative and permitted to have northern and eastern schools to play a portion of their academic year based baseball or softball season in August to mid-October and then complete that season April to June?
Which is what we talked about last week. I'd be for that.
Some sports are split.
That's
true.
Know,
they play in the fall and they play in the spring. Is this a priority with college presidents?
No, it's not.
Probably not. What are your thoughts about trying to cap each position, at least in football? Wide receivers can only make X amount, and quarterbacks can only make X amount. Wouldn't this keep the majority of players at their original school a choice? Well, what the problem is, it creates a caste system. Why? You say this position is less important as that position, and money's on the table. I don't see that. Says not sure how to govern this, but just a thought. Cap the position so schools can offer more, yet players are still making money. I don't see. I can't tell in my own mind which is a bigger problem in college athletics at the Division I level, the portal or name, image, and likeness. Because the moment you say one, then the other one even gets worse and worse and worse. Excuse me, Tim, the old CCHA, Western Michigan gave Michigan State a run for the money in the St. Louis Blues country. Just seemed like a weird sight for 3 Michigan schools to have to go. They would have filled Van Andel. Yeah, but those sites are determined way in advance. And frankly,
5 years in advance?
Well, I mean, you're going to send them to Sioux Falls, Springfield, or Providence? You're going to send them there? I mean, St. Louis was the closest of the 4. They didn't know, obviously, who the 16 teams that are going to be selected. I mean, in a perfect world for the NCAA, the Frozen Four, they'd love to have in Boston because they got Boston College and Boston U in there. But that doesn't happen. These are all predetermined.
That's just
the way it is.
Years in advance.
So all of these sites are determined a year in advance. And Lansing Joe's on the Culligan Water Hotline. He's next on the Sparrow Stout on Sports. Morning, Joe.
Morning, Tim. Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to this NC State Purdue game because I wonder if that Burns guy is going to be a tough matchup for Edey or vice versa. And the one thing I notice about Edey, he's not really that good of a free throw shooter, but he still gets his, his 30 points and his 16 rebounds.
Yeah, but for 7'4", he's shooting 72%,
which is pretty good for a big guy.
I mean, for his size, he makes, and the thing that helps him is he gets like 15, 16 free throw attempts a game, and he pins fouls on the other guy.
Yeah, I hear what Joe is saying. He does miss some free throws, but most big guys aren't very good free throw shooters. See Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, that's true too. And it's good to see that Purdue made it to the Final Four after they followed the same path as Virginia did that one year. And I'm pulling for NC State, but I wouldn't. I'd like to see a Big Ten team win it. Seeing how it's been so long, at least Purdue's got a chance, and it's going to be a good Final Four. And Alabama had never been there before, so that the committee does a good job every year. There's always going to be your what ifs and who should have been in and who's left out. But they do a good job, and it comes down to just free throws and coaching and name, image, and likeness and all that good stuff. So
we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I mean, you say that, and then you got a 20-point blowout game. I mean, there are blowouts in the Final Four.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of these teams now they're getting into area which is new, including
rarefied air.
They're in rarefied air. They're in a football stadium. They're 3 time zones away.
It's weird shooting in a football stadium.
Their fan base is absolutely fanatic about 2 wins from the national title, and I spent all this money to get here and get tickets and all that. We got to win, whatever. I mean, obviously, the team that's got the most background on this is Connecticut. Connecticut won it a year ago. Those guys, most of those players, they've been there before. They've been in that setting. They've been around that pressure. And to me, they have the best coach.
Danny Hurley?
I just think Hurley, I just think he's got this thing figured out. And I don't know when that's ever going to change because he just keeps restocking. I don't know what.
And he's got a 7-2 guy that can at least try to handle.
I think that guy's
Donovan Kling, and he's really good.
It's just so hard to go 40 minutes with Connecticut. But, it's a single game knockout. And like Matthew says, if you're going to play Connecticut, play them in the final game. Don't play them earlier. Play them in a final game. And so, but to his point, you got to get past North Carolina State first. And again, that team came
that
with...
big guy's playing great.
He's playing
DJ,
great.
I forget his name.
And yet, that school is a heartbeat away from getting knocked out in Game 2 of the NCAA tournament by Oakland, who pushed them to overtime.
Or needed a missed free throw and a banked-in three just to win the first round of the ACC tournament 3 weeks ago.
So there you go. And I think the first game's around the 6 o'clock hour.
6 o'clock and then 8:30, almost 9 o'clock.
Whatever time it takes to play the first game, add 40, 45 minutes
and
for Game 2.
TBS has it, not CBS. TBS has the semifinals and the finals this year.
Which obviously is going to curtail audience. Just simply when you get to the backup networks, you do not have the same number of people who watch.
But that's part of the deal that they made years ago.
One final break. You can still join us on the Culligan Water Hotline, okay? The driven collision story of the day is a new month, the aftermath of some of these tournaments. We're down to the Final Four, Frozen Four. And the Tigers are coming home for their first game on Friday against the... And by the way, when are they going to lose? Look at the teams they're playing. The Mets are terrible. The Oakland A's are off the scale terrible.
Don't put the Dean curse on them, Tim.
I think they could go 162-0 for the first time ever.
Okay.
And we're right back.
Here's what's on tap today here on the game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN. Coming up, we got ESPN Radio in less than 20 minutes. And then at 3, it's The Huge Show. 6:45 tonight. Pistons, no, it's the Red Wings. Red Wings are at the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. 6:45 pregame with Ken Cal, Paul Woods, and Daniela Bruce. Over on 1240 WJIM, it is Tiger Baseball. Tigers and New York Mets, first of a 3-game series in Queens. And that's what's on tap. The game, 7:30 a.m. WVFN.
The prestigious Abood Law Firm has offices in East Lansing and Birmingham and has been around since 1956. 332-5900, Abbott and Saginaw and East Lansing. Abood Law understands it's essential to get an attorney involved in your legal issues as early as possible. If you're dealing with legal problems, contact Andrew Abood and his great staff at Abood Law in East Lansing immediately, and you'll get the help that you need and can depend on. Abood Law, we heartily endorse Andrew Abood Law, 332-5900. Capital Region International Airport, whenever you can do it. Fly Lansing first. It's so much more convenient. And now let's go ahead and tell you about Breeze Airways, okay? Providing nonstop service from Lansing to both Orlando and Fort Myers in Florida, beginning early in October, and you can book your tickets now. Whenever you can do it, you know what the conveniences are. Cheaper parking, much easier to get through all of the security, and just checking in and out right away. Whenever you can do it, we say fly Lansing first and take Breeze Airways in the fall now, Lansing to Florida. If you can't imagine a morning without pain, the highly skilled specialists at Sparrow Orthopedics and Sports Medicine are here for you. Sparrow is the largest orthopedics and sports medicine program in mid-Michigan, offering a range of services, including trauma, rehabilitation, surgery, and joint replacement. And the Sparrow team is nationally recognized and certified as a Blue Distinction Center of Excellence. Their physicians have great experience treating athletes of all types from high school to the pros. You can learn more about the leading edge medicine. Go to sparrow.org/orthopedics. You never know what time of year you're going to need the talented people and services of Doty Mechanical, 615 South Waverly in Lansing, one of the terrific service companies in our area through the years. Heating issues, cooling issues. You need a generator. You need plumbing help. All of that and more from the great technicians at Doty Mechanical. They carry the Carrier products. They're the exclusive distributor in the area. 327-7777, 327-7777. When you need that kind of help, call Doty Mechanical.
Swimsuit? Check. Sunscreen? Check. Phone charger? Check. Don't forget to pack the 5-Hour Energy. It fits great in a pocket or carry-on, and the alert feeling will help you arrive ready for anything. Now get 20% off when you use code 5HETRAVEL at 5hourenergy.com. Expires April 30th. One-time use only. Not valid with other discounts. Remember, visit 5hourenergy.com and use code 5HETRAVEL to save 20%.
Candy Ford in Charlotte, the home of the greatest deals on wheels. They've had that slogan for years and years, and it just keeps getting better every single day. John Dykstra says it's worth the drive, okay? Down I-69 from the Lansing area to Charlotte to see the deals they have for you. They'll get you the best deal you can possibly find on a Ford vehicle, new or used. And if trucks are your thing, okay, Candy Ford is home of the greatest Ford trucks that there are available. You're always ahead whenever you choose Candy Ford. Worth the drive to Charlotte for sure.
And now to the chopper for our traffic report.
There's a lot of traffic. It must be headed to Meijer for the Buy 5, Save $5 sale. Shop select General Mills family size cereal, Oikos Greek yogurt, and select Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. All Buy 5, Save $5. Mix or match at Meijer.
Okay.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
It's amazing to me the fabulous quality of Wash World in cleaning your vehicle. 2 locations in our area, Okemos and Jolly Road, and on the west side I-96 at the MLK exit. State-of-the-art, full service, free vacuum. Who offers that? $2 off on Wednesday, gift cards available, and you can get monthly and yearly wash subscriptions. You're in and out right away. Your vehicle looks great any time of the year. Make your car or truck look great at Wash World. The best in quality, the fastest service, believe me, in Okemos and Westside Lansing. Tom's Food Centers in Okemos and Portland to the rescue at any time. You want in-and-out convenient grocery service as fast as you can get it in and out conveniently. The entire family has created Tom's Food Centers, and they upgrade them on a regular basis to make them as good as you can possibly hope to expect when you go through the process of buying groceries for yourself or your family. Tom's Food Centers. Try them in Okemos and in Portland.
Stretched during that timeout. We're back for more sports. It's The Game, 7:30 a.m. I think I pulled a hammy.
On the go in the Driven Collision Studios here at WVFN Radio. Oh, there's not everybody out there, Brock, that's happy that the NCAA basketball semifinals Saturday are on TBS. Tim, having the NCAA men's semifinals on TBS is a big joke and a disservice to fans like me who cannot get TBS. Ridiculous from JD and Jennison.
Well, I hear what he's saying,
camper.
But that's part of the deal that CBS made with Turner, 15 years ago almost? Yeah.
This guy says, "Hi, Tim. Let me state at the outset, Michigan State hockey had a great season. They clearly accomplished a lot. Having said that, I, as an MSU fan, would have been able to choose between the two realities of what transpired for the MSU and U of M hockey teams. A briefer way to put all this, I view the U of M team as now having the more successful season than MSU. I think that's yet to play out."
Well, if Michigan wins the national championship, then you can say that. But, hey, State had a great year. They just weren't quite good enough last night.
Hi again, Tim. Very long-time listener. Can't wait to hear Ellis on Tuesday. We all know he loves his blue.
Yeah. Love the sarcasm there?
Well, I mean, I don't think he ever, got off what, I mean, look, he's like everybody else who follows college hockey. Michigan's dangerous.
They are.
I mean, they're not foolproof, but they're dangerous.
No. Oh, no.
And boy, they're dangerous when they're motivated. And that, to me, last night, that was you are never going to find a team like that's going to be more motivated than they were last night. Even in the Frozen Four, they'll want to win. They all do when you get there. But in terms of having a passion to ruin what up to that point had been a glorious, glittering season, because Michigan State would have been in the winner last night's in the Frozen Four, and the loser's done for the entire year. And Michigan, after having lost 4 out of 5, salvaged the 6th game, the one that Michigan had to have, obviously, to get to the Big Ten to a Frozen Four. So there you go. Excuse me. The Lansing Lugnuts are in town.
Yeah, that's right.
Team 28 has arrived, and they had pictures taken this morning at the stadium, visited with the media. They tell me I'm in the 5 o'clock news on Channel 10 with that story.
Oh, okay.
And also in the 6 o'clock, we'll meet. And the manager is the same. He's with the team for year 3, Craig Conklin. He's back, right?
Yeah.
Now, how the Oakland A's send draft picks. And by the way, did I see over the weekend the parent Oakland A's now have an offer from Oakland, which they're debating to stay 5 more years in Oakland.
Up to 5 more years,
Up to 5 more years because the stadium in Vegas may not be ready in time.
And you heard what the mayor of Las Vegas said. She said that her preference would be for them to stay in Oakland. She said that, last fall, or it was over the winter, I think.
Well, they would have stayed in Oakland or would stay in Oakland.
With a new stadium.
With a new stadium.
They have to have a new stadium.
But the stadium is a problem.
Yep.
It becomes an albatross for all of these different major league or any major pro area. They're not the only ones that want a different stadium. The Chicago Bears are trying to figure it out. The Buffalo Bills are trying to figure it out. That's just 2 teams in the NFL right there. Let alone other teams that are trying to figure out what are we going to do about the stadium situation that we currently have. But we'll probably try to finish or get with Jesse because the Midwest League season opens on Friday night.
Correct.
And the Lugnuts are on the road. I think they're at Great Lakes.
I do too, yeah.
And these are 6-game series again.
Except for this weekend.
This series is an opening 3-game series.
Yep, which they'll play a 3-game series, I believe, against each other in Lansing later on this season.
Now, it's scheduled for Wednesday night at 6:05, the 7th-inning crosstown showdown game between Michigan State and the Lugnuts. If you go, dress warmly because it's not going to be.
If it rains, then
it isn't going to be pristine weather. That's just the way it is. But nonetheless, they'll try to play it. And Michigan State's baseball team plays at Notre Dame, due to play at Notre Dame tomorrow. Before that. And then
they're at Dayton. I'm sorry. The Lugnuts are at Dayton. So it's 7:05 Friday on the road, 1:05 both Saturday and
Sunday.
Sunday.
Home opener, what is a week from
April
tomorrow
9th,
night?
A week from tomorrow night against Great Lakes.
A 6-game series against the Loons.
All are the Tuesday through Friday are 6:05 games. Saturday 4:05, Sunday 1:05.
Well, I just hope it warms up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Not only for the Lugnuts, but for Michigan State is out. I believe that Michigan State baseball is out of the Big Ten this weekend and hosting Niagara for 3 because there's a bye for some team in the Big Ten every season because they only have 13 teams that play baseball. Wisconsin does not. That's an uneven number. So because of that, somebody's going to have a bye weekend from league play, and this weekend it's Michigan State. In Charlotte this morning on the Culligan Water Hotline, Mike's on the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports. Morning, Mike.
Hey, Tim. I was trying to call in Friday. I know you had a busy show. I had a comment on the high school baseball. I just started. This will be my 2nd year, and there's just not enough umpires. And I know you had mentioned, start the games at 2:30. Tim, there's nobody that can get there at 2:30. So unless they put lights in, just speaking from experience, and Brock, I think I know what he was saying, but I don't think it's the rule. I think every now and then you might get an umpire that takes a long time in between games. But to be honest, we're changing as fast as we can. The kids are trying to eat a meal, and the rule is 20 minutes. And from what I've seen, the partners that I've been with, we keep it right about that. It might take a little bit longer, but that's because the kids finish eating, not because we're not ready. So We're trying to get the kids in and out as fast as we can. And, I ref basketball 5 nights a week, so I really didn't want to do it. But one of my buddies that ref the Diamond Classic the last 2 years said, can you come out and give us 2 nights? Because the parents are umping, and it's turning into a scrimmage. So we have the kids' best interests at heart. We're trying to recruit to get more people, but we're not. Brock, I just want to say we're not taking a long time in between games. We're doing everything we can to get the games in, and the kids are great. I just wanted to say that.
Thanks, Mike.
I hope that's accurate.
Well, not only that, one point he made that I hadn't thought about is if these umpires have jobs,
true,
and they can't get out at 2:30,
that's understandable.
Well, then that's an issue.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that. But yeah, then that becomes an issue if there are not enough umpires who can work games at 2:30, whatever it is in the afternoon. But then does that mean a better solution, which is the way it was when I played? If we played double headers, we played them on a weekend. Okay, early in the day.
Which means you got to play more games during the week. You play one game, 3 or 4 days a week.
You just play one game instead of trying to get in double headers.
Yeah.
But to his point, I remember last year, I remember last year Holt was due to play at Lansing Catholic, and the umpire ended up, they couldn't make it. And they went over to the softball game next door and tried to take one of the two umpires working in that game and bring them over and work alone. And that didn't work out.
Yeah.
So they ended up just scrimmaging each other because they didn't have umpires. I mean, and this is not a sport where you're going to get a lot of fan abuse because there's just not a lot of people there. I mean, it's just a different deal. The games tend to go faster, and to me, they're a little easier to call. But to his point, if you can umpire, go help them because they're looking for umpires. Well, we got ESPN radio programming coming up next. Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons all in action tonight. I'll see you at 5 o'clock with the Lugnuts on Channel 10, 620 regular. Fred's been off a couple days watching baseball, and he was at the Lugnuts outing this morning, so we'll see how all that plays. You've been listening to the Monday Sparrow Stout on Sports on Lansing Sports Station, the game 7:30 a.m. You know it is the home of the local sports shows and programming of note in our area. For Brock, I'm Tim. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Enjoy the day. Be careful where you go. Be safe. Who knows what the lead story will be tomorrow, but you be sure and join us then. We'll be back at 10:05 tomorrow, and that'll be for the Tuesday Sparrow Stout on Sports. So long.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. He was once a key part of the Lions' defense. Now Cam Sutton is behind bars in Florida.
29-year-old Cam Sutton practicing in Allen Park with the Lions when word came that there was a warrant out for his arrest. The Lions allegedly told Sutton, get yourself a lawyer and turn yourself in. Well, he didn't do that, and that was back on March 7th. Well, Sutton had been on the run ever since until last night when he turned himself in to authorities at Hillsborough County about 8:30 last night. Now, he'll be arraigned on domestic battery by strangulation. That's the charge, and it carries with it up to 5 years in prison. He will face a judge, and likely a high bond will be set because he's been on the run for weeks. Now, Sutton will also plead not guilty, and he is, at this point, innocent of all charges.
Charlie Langton, Michigan News Network.
Alcohol or drugs not believed to be factors in a deadly Easter morning crash in Livingston County. MSP says troopers from the Brighton Post responded to the single vehicle rollover in Tyrone Township, finding 3 passengers dead on the scene. They're being identified as a 44-year-old woman, a 22-year-old man, and a 16-year-old girl. The driver, a 44-year-old man, and another 18-year-old passenger are hospitalized. They were from Tustin, south of Cadillac, were related and headed to an Easter gathering. Today's the first day you need a renewed fishing license to fish Michigan's lakes. Anyone 17 or older is required to have a license. They cost $26 for Michigan residents or $11 for seniors. You can get one online or in person at a licensed agent location. Both can be found on the DNR's website. April 1st also marks the start of the 2024 to 25 off-road vehicle season. Those permits are available. The money is used to maintain motorized trails. I'm Beth Fisher for the Michigan News Network.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles and have an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, listen up. CarShield has a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that covers more parts than ever. Visit carshield.com/audio to find out how you could pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Get your free quote today at carshield.com/audio. That's carshield.com/audio.